Welcome to Game Changer Weekly. Frank, I'm going to go to you since you're the first one unmuted and in chains.
I didn't do it, I swear.
Tuesday evening?
Oh, shit.
That's a good start. John, how are you doing this Tuesday evening? Are you guilty?
Well, I don't think I'm guilty. Looks like I'm on coke. So could be guilty.
It still scans for the Fed. We're good.
Hey, I'm just saying it's only illegal if I'm caught. Anyway, it's going to be a fantastic night. We have one of the biggest shows that GCW has ever undertaken for tonight, and I'm really looking forward to sitting down, getting together, talking with Brett, getting a couple questions in, and then I'm just letting everyone know we are going to sink heavy into that review. So expect a great night tonight. We have Frank, who, again, he was at the show live, our East Coast correspondent out there doing everything he could. I also wanted to say, Frank, you had those wonderful videos. Because the way Hammerstein was, you weren't able to get over there and shoot some more. Yeah. But they've become popular, and I wanted to let you know and maybe let others know that those are going to continue, right?
As soon as there's a show in Jersey that I can sneak a microphone into, we will get more of those Mean Genes going, which I've been taken to calling them. I've been calling them my little Mean Genes, and we'll get more of them. Maybe if I could sneak into a couple other East Coast shows that are GCW adjacent, we may see something. But that's all with blessings and whatnot I can do. But the spice must flow. We will go.
Feeling good though overall? Everybody's happy?
Yeah, real quick, before I forget, at the bottom of the screen, I am adding Allie Katch's. There we go. GoFundMe for Hammerstein, the injury. So there, if you want to help support Allie Katch and her recovery, there's a GoFundMe there, and I will
go throw money at Allie. I have to say that even when Allie was not at the show after her bone break, they threw a Post-it on her merch table that says that just had her Cash App on it, so they could still support her. And I think whoever was next to her was sort of working her merch table for her. Like I said, I was in and out after the show because for other reasons, and we'll get to that as we progress through the night, that I had to boogie on out. I couldn't do my usual smoke sesh and, take temperatures of the room for various reasons, and we'll get to that later. So
yeah, we might get to everything else later, as tonight we are going to start off the show as we are joined by one Mr. Brett Lauderdale. Let's get him in, and hopefully I can fix the screen real fast. Yep. Boom. Hi.
Chopped him.
Yes. Got it.
Brett, how you doing tonight?
Yes.
What's up, gentlemen?
Hello.
Wow.
Hello.
That is the look of a man that does not have the weight of the world on his shoulders anymore.
Oh,
less
come
planning.
on. He
less
floated
planning.
to bed. He's been floating to bed for the last night or two. That's a lot off the shoulders, my friend.
Sounds about right.
Well, congratulations on behalf of everyone over here, and also from all the fans that we have listening. Thank you so much for everything. You promised to give us a GCW experience. I feel like we got a heavy dose of the GCW experience, and kudos for that.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way. We did our best, of course. There was some unexpected challenges along the way, but we did our best to give the best show possible. And I wanted it to be as GCW as possible. So I'm glad you felt that we delivered that in some way.
I felt like we got it in handfuls, about 5.5 hours, roughly. Right?
Yes. If you count the GCWmerch.com kickoff show, my thought was that it was going to go about a little under 5 hours. That was my thought, but obviously I don't know the exact amount of time we lost when Allie went down, but I want to say it was at least 30 minutes, and that threw a lot of things off, so
based off my tagging, because I was tweeting out every match announcement during the show with a relatively witty crime attached to it. Effie and Allie started at 8:27, and the 6-way with Tony, Kerry, Griff, and the New York OGs started at 8:47. Plus was 15 minutes for the state commission stoppage, so probably till 9. So yeah, the half hour makes sense there.
Right. So, not only did we literally have to stop the show, but it threw a wrench into a lot of other things that were planned. Stuff had to be shifted around, and obviously it threw off the rhythm, which to that point was looking great. So, I give all I can do is, again, it was definitely out of our hands, but I thank everybody for sticking around through it and not getting, I guess for understanding what was going on and hanging in there with us. It was a situation which I've literally never had to deal with before. And of course it has to happen on a show like this. So it was tough.
Well, you may know more than the rest of us would, unless you're really keeping up. How is Allie?
Well, Allie has a broken leg, but other than that, she had surgery today and she went home today. Or she had surgery. What's today? Today's Tuesday. She had surgery yesterday and she went home today. She's in good spirits. I think she feels, very reassured and, overwhelmed by the amount of support that's been shown to her. I think that kind of, puts helps put her a little bit at ease. Her first, naturally, her first instinct, when she was loaded into that ambulance is what am I going to do? This is my career. So I think to see everybody rally around her the way they have, has let her take a breath and, realize everything's going to be okay.
Do you think it was a blessing there was an ambulance there instead of her having a broken leg and waiting?
Yes. So here's the thing. Yes, it's good that there's an ambulance there. It's good no matter what the injury is, it doesn't hurt to have an ambulance. Okay. Now, the ambulance that was there, she didn't leave in that ambulance. So really all that ambulance served as was kind of a holding station for her. The EMTs were there, the doctor was there, they were able to tend to her the whole time. The issue is we couldn't put her in the ambulance, and if we put her in it didn't matter how we did it really. Either way, we had to call for an ambulance and wait for one to get there, because if we would have put her in ambulance number 1 and sent her on our way, we would not have been able to continue until a new ambulance arrived. So, for emergency purposes, yes, it's always great if there's a ambulance there. But, had there not been one there, we would have just called an ambulance and waited for it to arrive. And luckily, we would have had a doctor on site to tend to her in the meantime. So, yes, I guess having an ambulance does not hurt. And thank God the injury wasn't more serious. A leg is obviously, it was very painful and, it is a serious injury. But, thank God it wasn't worse,
Wishing her absolutely the best. I want to ask this question. Everybody's asking, and you can answer it how you want. What were, look at you smiling already. What were the original plans for that story, or should we set that on hold for another time down the road?
Well, I don't know that it would be appropriate to divulge, full details, but obviously there was some major, what happened by the end of the night was dramatically different than the plan was when Effie versus Allie match started. Now, that's not my way of saying, oh, Allie was supposed to win the title or anything, but there were some stories that were to be told through the night that had to be completely scrapped. So, basically by the end of the night, it was a cut to the chase,
Yeah.
You should have expected more run-ins from person A or person B throughout.
Perhaps.
Match.
And there was stories to be told within the Effie and Allie match that did not get to be told. So, that was, I don't want to say it was a letdown, but it was, this is stuff that we had planned for months. and had been on paper and discussed and worked up to, and all of it basically had to be thrown out the window hours before it was literally as it was playing out.
Minutes,
and hours
minutes
before.
Even.
Yeah, so when Effie and Allie went to the ring, there was one game plan, and 5 minutes later, that entire game plan was out the window. So, it's frustrating, but I guess that's just the way it goes. Anybody can be hurt at any time.
And good on Mance for throwing his hat in the ring and getting out there and trying to keep the entertainment going and things in order while, she's being attended to.
Yeah. Everybody's ready to go at all times. Everybody's paying attention, and yeah. I mean, Mance saw an opportunity, right? And he didn't want to let it go.
And ZM Zoe, one of our listeners here, said shout out to Steph DeLander for being there for Allie as well. Yeah, she stayed there throughout the whole process. That's lovely. Good for her.
Yeah, no, I mean, Steph's a good friend, and yeah, I mean, we were fortunate to have her there to be there for Allie. It's tough because, when a show is going on, especially a show of this magnitude, there's only so much that some of us can do. I can't leave my post. Effie's not in a position to leave his post, so you need somebody like Steph to step up and kind of step in and be the person that she was on that night. So yeah, we're very thankful for her.
Let's see. Momentum. Everybody felt like, of course, something that major is going to kind of stutter momentum. And I felt like it took a little bit to get back. Something like that's going to happen. Oh, we lost B. That's okay. Outside of that, because you couldn't help that, how did you feel everything else went on the night?
There were some things that I thought were great. There were some things that I thought could have been better. There was a few things that were kind of botched, so to speak. Some things that nobody might have even known about, and some things that you might have figured out watching it. Just little things, See, I'm a perfectionist here, so when things don't go perfect, sometimes I get a little discouraged or upset about it. I was pretty pleased with most of the show, but it wasn't perfect. Now, just to be clear, none of our shows are perfect. So that's not me saying that is not saying I'm dramatically let down in any way. It's hard for me to go back and watch any GCW show because I want them all to be perfect. And if they're not, it's hard for me to watch it. So me saying this is not unusual. I'm just answering your question.
Well, it's like listening to yourself sing. Listen to yourself sing for 5 minutes. It's some of the hardest stuff to listen to. And others may think it sounds wonderful. And you're going, oh, I miss this phrase. I miss this breathing point. It's, yeah, you're your own worst critic in that sense. Realistically, 1 through 10, and you can have a 7.5, 9.5. Where do you feel you put that show at out of a 1 to 10 for yourself personally?
I mean, I guess I would say it's, I don't know, 7, 7.5. And just to be clear, there's no GCW show that I would have ever rated a 10. So take that one off the board. But I mean, I would say that it was good. That's what I would say. It was a good show.
People come on here all the time, and all the time on here, I would say, being the internet, and you'll hear naysayers, you'll hear all kinds of different things. I wanted to tell you, I really thought you were going to give it higher just to give it higher. I think giving it a good to a more average rating, I was going to put it at a 7.5 to 8. So it's kind of nice to hear, instead of people online speculating, thinking you thought this was the greatest thing ever. That's why it's nice to have you on here, so that you can just say, look, I felt it was this. And then you don't have as much speculation. Yeah.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm always a realist. And like you said, I'm our number one critic. I'm our hardest critic. So, and that's probably to a fault, probably sometimes I'm too critical. But I thought there was a lot of really exceptional moments, bright spots on the show, cool stuff that happened. And, I like I'm not. I can look. I'm. You know, I have no real like. There's nothing I'm second guessing about this show. Which after the first one we did at Hammerstein, there was a lot of things that I second guessed, and I wish we would have done this, and I wish we would have done that. I have none of that about this show.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's so nice to hear. On a good note. Oh, go ahead, buddy. Sorry, I've been kind of taking up all the time there.
Well, as much as you can, Brett. Fan question, and this was one of our questions as well. Any comments on the PCO actions on kickoff show? As much as possible.
Sure. Well, PCO is like a longtime friend of ours. He's a longtime friend of GCW, and I'm a big fan of his personally and professionally. I admire him, and I have a lot of respect for him. So. In most circumstances, I give him the benefit of the doubt, or I trust him, or whatever. What happened, I think what he ended up doing and what I thought he was going to do beforehand was a little different. I was under the impression that we were kind of playing, that we were assisting in a storyline for him. And I think maybe either, and let me just be clear, maybe we are. I don't know if maybe there's a work going on, and I don't know because it's, I just don't know. But, what happened and what I thought was going to happen were slightly two different things. And, I thought we were kind of doing him a favor by letting him advance a storyline, and returning to GCW at the same time. So, I only kind of realized that it was more than that after the fact, when I started reading reports that he may or may not have done that on his own. So, I don't know. It is what it is. It doesn't seem like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like an end of the world scenario here, and I guess, the only people that really know what the situation is are PCO and TNA. I would not go out of my way. If I would have known that it was if I would have known exactly what was going to happen, I probably would have either suggested maybe doing it a little differently, or I probably would have reached out to TNA to make sure that they were in on it. But again, I give PCO the benefit of the doubt, and I respect him as a person and a performer. So, I really thought we were kind of more doing him a favor than, assisting in anything that would have been over the line. And again, I don't even know. Maybe we did assist them in a storyline. I honestly don't know. I don't know if this is something that's going to play out later. I was just happy to have him back on the GCW show, and whatever. It was cool to see him.
So one half of the TNA. Oh, sorry.
No. You're good. What was the question?
So no nasty grams from TNA is what I'm hearing.
No, and I know a lot of the people at TNA, so I feel like if they were,
you would have heard by now.
I feel like I would have been contacted if there was any major issue that would have been on us, or if they had questions about it. And that's why, and I'm not trying to like break kayfabe or anything, but that's why I think maybe there is still a storyline going on with it, because I feel like maybe if there wasn't, after the fact, they would have said, "Hey, what happened?"
Yeah, there's been all kinds of things across the internet, and how 100% true all that is.
Yeah.
But it's one half of the Quebecers, so come on. I've been watching him since I was young.
Listen, I can tell you one thing that's 100% true. PCO is crazy. Okay? PCO is actually crazy. And he's been crazy since the day I met him. So, he's crazy. I know that, and TNA knows that. So, nothing should be surprising when it comes to him.
I wanted to just ask a listener question. Reed Harris Cooper said, if you don't mind asking him why the show cut away on the Pero part of the story.
Okay. Well, the true answer is because we were about 45 minutes behind by that time. that match and segment went about 7 minutes past its time, and we were simply had to move forward. There was no time left to spare. So, in my mind, whether he ran out there and it was cut from the broadcast or we stayed with it, that's a story that we can still tell whenever we want. So, whether it happened right there in that moment or it happens on the next show or a show a few weeks from now, it's not like it's lost it's not like it's lost to the darkness or whatever.
It may come back as one of those during the break style promos
sure.
down the road.
I mean, it could be anything.
And I'm guessing they probably caught it on camera, so you have some real footage.
Probably.
How high did GCW trend on X in the United States?
I was just too busy to keep up with it, but I know at one point somebody sent me a screenshot where we were trending at number 6, right ahead of TNA at number 7. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that was just a blip on the radar or a temporary thing or how it stayed for the rest of the night or if it went up and down. But, I guess at one point that's where it was. So I don't know where it went from there, but.
So since fans have your ear, we had an anonymous one that got a hold of me that said, can we possibly look into getting live on air tweets again? Some fans tweet just to see their name and be immortalized on the show, and it also helps with traction on X. Any possibility?
Talking about during GCW shows?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's a cool idea. I think there are certain events where we're more capable of doing that. I think that's a manpower thing, having the resources to do that. Yeah. Somebody's got to be doing that separately and then handing it off to, the live producer. So, when we're on the road, basically anytime we're not in New York or New Jersey, we have essentially a one-man crew when it comes to the production. So, there's nobody to be pulling tweets, making the graphics and sending them on to him, so it's definitely not a bad idea. And I don't know if Ash is watching, maybe he knows a better way to make it happen. I mean, it is a cool idea. I think it's just, it's one of those, it's a matter of resources.
Ash is usually in here, and I'll just mention now too, Ash, I think they did a good job covering the show. I loved watching the camera just kind of swing around and show the venue and
the jib.
Yeah. The jib. Yeah. Big fan of the jib. I love watching.
There were a couple shots of just the camera guy just walking through rows behind people sitting in the crowd. And I think that's an angle you don't see usually on a GCW show. And that was interesting to see. So
there was a lot of cool camera shots. I really like the video, during the tag team title match, a lot of the cool footage from outside into the middle of the ring was really cool to see.
We have a question from Darren Walker. For Brett, I can't wait for London on Sunday, especially with Megan versus Masha news today. Will there be a meet and greet with talent before or after that show in London?
Yes, there will. I'm not sure the exact time. I've been supposed to be. I was supposed to send an email a couple of days ago to shore up the exact times, but I've been so busy and then so tired I haven't been able to lock it in. But I want to say, I think the show starts at 3 p.m. I want to say that there's a meet and greet at 1 p.m. at Electric Ballroom before doors open formally. I want to say there is I know there's a meet and greet. I just don't know the exact time yet. But, there will be one before, and then I imagine wrestlers will be out there to meet further after the event.
There you go, Darren. Thank you so much for asking that question. Okay, here's a good one. ECW made venues their own. Years down the road, companies like GCW and others frequent those venues as a tribute. Where will future companies go when they wish to pay tribute to GCW 20 to 30 years from now?
Well, I see people going places now paying tribute.
Yeah.
Or maybe not paying tribute, but definitely going into venues that, you know, we kind of put back, either put on the map or put back on the map, you know. I don't know. You know, maybe in a future incarnation of the Showboat, you know, maybe people will, if that city is still standing 20, 30 years from now.
The sea starts rising, swallows Atlantic City.
Well, or just,
I mean, that's probably the best for everybody if that just falls into the
I was going to
ocean.
say that would probably be not even the worst thing that could happen to that city. So, I mean, it's, you know, I don't know how well you know that city, but it's not in great shape.
Yeah. ZMZO said, had a hell of a night. Everybody was on their A game. Even Chad Mins was all over the place. Emil trying to catch a live PCO sledgehammer swing was real ballsy. I don't know if there was a question. That was a hell of a statement, though. I'll give it that much. Some said the UCC may be the nostalgia or one of the nostalgia venues for your legacy.
Yeah, the UCC would definitely be a good one.
Emil just said, come on, stop shitting on my hometown.
Well, I'm pretty sure Emil's hometown is Brigantine, so I'm not technically shitting on his hometown.
Let's see. Were there any other questions anyone wanted to ask from chat or B? Frankie, did either of you have any other questions for Brett? I didn't want to hold him a long time. I figured you were going to be fatigued. You just traveled, you know, across and yeah.
I had one question.
Okay. There we go.
One question for Hammerstein, and then one kind of question had nothing to do with Hammerstein. Tom Pestock. Any chance we're going to see him down the line outside of Bloodsport?
I think so. I know he really enjoyed his experience, and yeah, I know he definitely enjoyed his experience, and I think he's interested in doing more. I think he's got some options right now that he wants to weigh and kind of take his time in figuring out. I don't think he wants to rush into anything, but I do know that he does very much loves wrestling. He's definitely passionate about it, which I think, you know, a lot of people didn't know that, and they may have kind of learned a little bit this past weekend, and I think they'll start to learn as they see more and more of him. But I think that the public perception of him, you know, as Baron Corbin in the WWE is different than the real Tom, you know, and I know that he's eager to show that. And I'll be honest, even I, you know, was unsure until I spoke to him. But no, he very much, I mean, he was very appreciative of the opportunity and very complimentary in speaking to him after the fact, both publicly and privately. He was very complimentary.
Awesome. And then last question. And yeah, Woods Corner, Wrestling Corner had the same one. Alec Price, you guys announced today Garbage Daddies versus Violence is Forever for LA. And we see previously Alec Price was booked at another show. Can we still expect to see Alec Price in LA?
I don't. No, I'm here. Sorry, I was checking. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I minimized my screen, and every time it does that, it takes me out. I did hear the question, and I actually don't know the answer. Okay. My notes say that he is booked for this date. So until and unless he tells me either that was a mistake or that he can't make it, I'll assume that he's going to be there. But I mean, sometimes people, make mistakes or there's confusion. So whatever, it'll be figured out one way or another.
I think we've gotten through most of the questions. Why and who picked Tommy to be Cardona's first opponent? The internet sensation?
Well, Tommy Invincible has been asking for a long time. Not so much asking me, but Cardona. So it's kind of been like one of those things where, like, I think Cardona probably told him no 100 times. But he kept asking, and I guess it kind of became one of those things like, maybe if there's ever the very right moment, maybe we'll call you. And I think maybe the right moment popped up. It was part of the whatever the lineup of Cardona opponents, and I don't know. I thought it fit well.
I think he sees a little bit of himself in him.
Maybe, but definitely that was for him. That was a dream come true, a true, real dream come true. He was emotional. He was touched. He was thankful, humble. I mean, I don't know much about him in real life. I've only met him the one time. I know a lot of people know him through TikTok or whatever. I don't have TikTok. I don't follow him. But I can tell you that was like a life-changing moment for him. He was truly touched to have that opportunity.
Good for him then. I mean, he hit a goal.
Oh, definitely.
So, yeah. Stirred emotions with the fans. Quite a few were like, wait, that's it? And of course, you have to hear the whole story before you're able to judge with Cardona. So, yeah. Okay, I'll ask the obvious question. Are there any plans to go back to the Hammerstein?
I'm also happy to take more questions from fans, by the way, if there's more. But are there plans to go back to Hammerstein? I don't have a contract right now for another date, but there's no plan not to go back to Hammerstein. I think it's just going to be a matter of if there's a right time and right time, right moment scenario that pops up again. I still really love that place. It's a special place for me. It's a special place in wrestling. I don't know, in my mind anyways. And I don't know. I would like to go back there someday, but whatever. It's we'll see what the future holds. Maybe we'll skip over it next time and go down the street to Madison Square Garden.
That seems to be a goal for you, huh? Love it. Okay, let's see here. Rose asks, why was Section B hard cam side so far away from ringside? Was there a reason for that?
Why was Section B hard cam side so far away from ringside? Which one was Section B?
That I'd have to wait for the listener to answer there.
I will say I did look. I didn't notice it until the doors were open. It did look like some of the seats were a little far back, and I think that's because the venue. Well, we didn't set the chairs up. The venue does this.
Oh,
and I'm guessing, yeah, they do that. I'm guessing that the people that set them up were probably the same people that set them up at AEW. And AEW had everything way far back from the ring. So I'm guessing that these guys thought, oh, this is how it's supposed to be for all the wrestling shows here. So that's my guess. And I don't know which section is Section B, but I'm guessing that maybe the staff there probably assumed it was supposed to be like that.
I got caught by the mute bug this time, John. On paper, was the seating layout the same as 2022?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah, to the exact seat by seat. So, that's why it was. It did throw me off a little bit because I remember last time everything was a lot tighter up to the ring. So that's why my guess is that the guy setting it up probably assumed, oh, it's the same as that wrestling that was here 3 weeks ago.
Ooh, Joe Cortez is in here. He said the theater at MSG could actually be a viable option for GCW also.
Maybe.
B, is there any way you could maybe shoot something over to Joe and we could get a weather report either before or after Brett's off air, whatever?
I'd like to get a traffic and weather report for New York City right now.
He earned a 5-minute spot on this show. I think it's awesome that when we talk about the upcoming weekend shows, we now give the weather. So
we need that. How about a London weather update?
Oh,
in a British accent.
Oh,
Come on, Joe. Do the British accent or the French accent.
I'm sending it to him now. I got slow. Oh, he's on vacation. No weather and traffic tonight.
Oh, poor guy. Maybe next time we'll have to wait.
Best idea. Yes, Emma, that was the best idea ever.
There was a person, I'm trying to find it here. It said, was there ever any idea of altering the show due to weather? This is from Matt Brown.
No. Altering the show due to weather in what way? Canceling it? Postponing it?
I'm guessing he's thinking like a postponement.
Yeah.
0%.
All right. Reed Harris Cooper.
Reed
okay.
Harris asked. Yep.
Go ahead, brother. He's got a little
I
bit
think
of
I'm on, my internet's bad. I'm on a bad. Yeah, I got a bad delay, I think, for everything.
Not a problem.
So, legit question, had eyes everywhere. What made you actually calm down? After the situation, Brett was running around, but eventually he breathed. Was there a moment?
Which situation?
Reed, time to.
I'm thinking he's talking about the Allie Katch one is what I'm going to just
only assume.
Yeah, because I could have just seen you just sitting back there going, fuck. And then
I'll tell you this.
Wheel's turn.
I'll tell you this. There was situations. There was, I don't want to say incidents, but there was stuff that happened on the event that had me a lot more upset or worked up than the Allie injury. So it could have been. That's why I say which situation.
Well, I think maybe he was talking about the other situation. Why don't you talk about that one?
Yeah, tell me which one.
Oh, damn it. It was worth a shot. I tried, Reed. Help us out here.
That's okay. We'll figure it out here. He said, yeah, the Allie Katch situation and commissioner situation. But at one point, you seem to breathe.
Well, the show keeps moving, so it doesn't do me any good to sit there and be angry. I have to focus on what's next. And, it's just whatever. Stuff happens, and you can be frustrated or angry in the moment, but the show goes on. So I don't have the luxury to, have an extended temper tantrum. I can maybe get like a minute if I'm lucky.
We had a couple requests here. Adam Luce said, you said all 50 states for GCW. Any chance for Omaha in 2025?
I knew he was going to say that. In 2025, I don't know. I have to see who I know in Nebraska, but I'm definitely going to try to make it to that part of the country, though, in 2025. I'm thinking maybe Oklahoma this year or Arkansas, which I guess isn't exactly that part of the country, but it's sort of part of. So we'll see. I do want to get there eventually, though. So one way or another, we're going to make it there, whether it's this year or next year or maybe the next year.
Two other people together both said Richmond, Virginia. Interesting. Yeah,
Virginia is one of the tough ones. It's just because has such a difficult commission that I'm not in a rush to deal with that at the moment.
Clown asks, was Jimmy always planned to face Cardona at the end, or was there someone else in mind and you had to change it up?
No comment.
Don't have a hat on tonight either. Interesting. Arrival Wrestling, do you have any new names, up-and-comers in mind on showcasing in future GCW events? Anyone from the kickoff impress you?
Well, there was nobody that really debuted on the kickoff show, so it's not like there was anybody that made an impression that I didn't already know about. So there are definitely some guys that I think are ready to level up this year. The guys and girls that I think are ready to level up this year, that they're not necessarily newcomers to GCW, but I think they're ready to move to the next level and have more serious matches or more significant matches. People like Marcus Mathers or Brooke Havoc or Mr. Danger, Fuego del Sol. None of these guys are necessarily newcomers, but I think that in terms of their GCW careers, I think that it's time for all of those people to go from we'll see if we have a spot for you to making a spot for them,
Brooke Havoc is definitely one of those people where I can see that she could definitely be on every show, and I would not be tired of her being on any.
Yeah, Brooke Havoc is a very hungry, hardworking, passionate, and humble young athlete who, she's very focused. She is a student of the game. She works very hard and on getting better, and she's getting better. It's one of those things where I think the only thing that she needs to do is just gain more experience, and that's going to continue to make her better. I just saw another comment about Bobby Flacco. He would definitely be in that group. He's a guy who's definitely paid his GCW dues. He's very capable, and he's actually made a pretty decent connection with the audience. I almost wish that I could have had a bigger spot for him on Sunday, but it's, the numbers, it turns into a numbers game at some point, and unless you want this show to go a literal 6 or 7 hours, I just don't have room for everybody.
Joe Cortez says, my one fan question: would the commission's actions during this past show make you reconsider future shows in either NYC or Rochester?
No, it's part of the gig. We know what to expect. We know that, that stuff could happen. I mean, some of it's very frustrating, but it's not like it's unexpected. I mean, it was definitely frustrating that, they literally would not let us restart the show until another ambulance came. They wouldn't let, once the situation with Allie was contained and she was moved to a place where she was safe and stable, you could make an argument that, all right, maybe one EMT and one doctor can stay with her and one EMT can come back inside and resume. Or, maybe the EMTs can take it from here and we can send the doctor back in to resume the show. But, they're very by the book, and it says this many EMTs and this doctor and this many ambulances must be here. The show must stop until this situation occurs. So, you could say, all right, that's probably unnecessary, but it's the rule. And we know that's the rule. So it's frustrating, and it couldn't have had worse timing. But it is what it is. It's literally out of our hands. And it's, I guess, that's the rules you play by when you come to New York. But there's zero chance that GCW is ever going to leave New York. As long as I'm here, I'm from New York. I'm from Rochester, and I lived in New York City. And I think it's in a tie for the best wrestling city in the world. So we're not going anywhere,
Reed Harris Cooper said, can we give a shout out to Kerry Morton for actually holding down the fort performance wise for a while?
Yeah, Kerry Morton's great. I think he's for his age and experience, not that he's a spring chicken here, he's not a rookie, but I think he's come so far in such a short amount of time, and he's very cool, calm, and collected, and smooth, on the microphone and being able to adjust. And yeah, he's the type of guy who you can hand him a microphone and say, I need you to kill 5 minutes starting right now, and he could do it. Yeah, he's good.
That's his daddy in him. 100%. That's his dad's training,
in his blood.
Yeah. Let's see. Any other questions here, guys? Now is a great time to ask that. Shane Winter said, so glad Attakus is back. Title shot in 2025?
I sure hope not.
Poor Attakus. I think he did a great job this past weekend, especially with the amount of build there was. And a lot of people, I don't think, really knew what to expect in a match like this. And I felt like Attakus really carried hard for a great story.
I can tell you something. I can give you an analysis on Attakus that I think, or a perspective that I know that there's a segment of the fan base that loves to have him back, and they think he should be thrown right to the top, and he should be doing this, and he should be doing that, and he's the best this, and he's the best that, and some of that is subjective. I mean, I will say he's very talented, and he is good at what he does. But I think one thing that people need to realize is there are a lot of GCW fans, current GCW fans, that don't know him, have never seen him before, and that are literally just now being introduced to him for the first time. So, we go to a lot of places that he's never been before, audiences he's never been in front of. So we're still in a position, GCW is in a position where we have to either reintroduce him or introduce him for the first time. And that takes time, and it should take time. Why would we want to put him in a position right off the bat? He doesn't need to be put into a do or die position. There's no need for that to happen for him. For him and for us to get the most out of him and have the most long-term success, we should be taking it slowly and building him as if everybody is seeing him for the first time. There's nothing wrong with that. So I think we're in for some long-term storytelling with him. And I think if all goes well, and if he is as good as I think he is, and if he's as good as a certain segment of the audience thinks he is, then I think in due time he will get what certain people thinks he deserves. If he's not that good, and if he doesn't connect with today's current GCW audience, then we'll have to adjust on the fly and see what we can do, or see what direction it's best to go with him. But I can tell you, and I know that this would be directed at the certain segment of the audience that thinks things are supposed to go a certain way. I can tell you that what Attakus is doing in GCW is what he wants to be doing. He's not being forced into doing anything. He's not doing anything he doesn't want to do. He's not, he wants to go a certain direction in his career, and that's the direction that he's going. You can read into that however you want, but people come to GCW for a reason, because they want to do something different and they want to extend their careers. And I think he has that in mind, as he should, and as anybody should. If you can't evolve as a performer, then you either evolve or you're gonna go in the wrong direction.
Considering circumstances, it was a good wrestling match, and then saying it's a death matcher like Attakus, I would say a much better grading on the death match scale. He didn't need violence, and still got the point across wonderfully. I thought that it turned out pretty well, and I thought that story was made interesting in short order. Yes,
and I give credit to everybody involved, everybody committed to it and invested in it, from GCW crew to him and to all parties. And I was into it. I was excited to see it, and I think they did a good job.
MLJ asks, is there anyone from ECW that we haven't booked yet who you want to book?
Probably Rob Van Dam. Let's see. I think we had Tommy Dreamer, right?
Oh, yeah.
He was in the clusterfuck this year, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he was. I don't know who else is alive.
And mobile. That's the tricky part.
I mean, I'd love to have everybody at some point, but everybody's kind of a lot of those guys are at different points in their lives and careers where, some of them either can't do it or don't want to do it or whatever. So it's just how it goes,
Great One said RVD is a Vegas resident.
I know.
Great One is a Vegas resident also. Yeah. It's a very small city in Las Vegas. We kind of all know our locals.
I talked to RVD recently, multiple times.
Oh, hell yeah. Good for you. Let's see what else is here. Any other questions? Rose asks, Sawyer versus Attakus in March in AC, or for right now, Sawyer is retired and working on other projects?
I think that she remains retired, very much so. I think she's enjoying figuring out what else there is in life outside of wrestling. And, I think she likes wrestling, but I think she likes discovering other things as well. So, wrestling will always be there, whether she wants to come back in 2 months or 6 months or a year from now or 5 years from now. Wrestling will always be there. She's pretty talented. I don't think she would have any problem re-entering, whether she waits 6 months or 6 years. It'll always be there for her. And I would tell that to anybody. Anybody that doesn't have, immediate WWE dreams. I would say, if you feel like there's something else calling you, and you need to go figure it out, go figure it out.
It's always never say never, never say never mentality.
Never say never, but wrestling will always be there.
Fire J Media, what's up, Ivan? He says, I gotta say my number one in 2025 is the return of Daiju Wakamatsu, and I'll second that. I think that she's on the market to come back to the United States here soon.
Daiju Wakamatsu?
Yes.
He or she?
I thought it was she. Is Daiju?
No, he.
Oh my gosh. I'm thinking of someone else then.
Which one are you thinking of?
Oh hell, I couldn't. The one that had the awesome looking baggy blue pants.
Right.
She looks like she had a
Sarah.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. I guess
both of them are on the list. But no, Wakamatsu was good. Wakamatsu, I'm pretty sure missed TOS, right? He was supposed to be in TOS and he missed it. Is that right?
That sounds right.
Yeah, he only made it for the second day because I want to say that he missed a connection on his incoming flight, or something was delayed or canceled or something.
He was in that makeup tag team with Emerson this year, the day after?
Maybe.
I think someone in the comments is going to roast me for not having knowledge about it, but whatever.
Well, I don't remember either, so we can all get roasted. But yeah, I he's definitely on the list. So yeah, he could be back at any time.
Let's see what else we had here. We had a request. Who was the request, guys? Jonathan Ash says Tombstone Jesus.
Tombstone Jesus rules. He was one of the real bright spots of 2024 for sure. He was booked kind of in the spirit of a nasty Leroy or a American Giant. My initial thought was that he fell into that category, but I learned that he fell much more into a authentic GCW category. He was a badass for real, and he hung in there and had an actual crazy match with Joey Janela, and actually had a crazy match with Joey Janela. He was tough as nails. He's one of those guys. He says all these crazy things, and you're like, oh, this old guy's, yeah, sure, just let him, just play along, and then you find out, wait a minute, this guy he may actually be telling the truth about everything he says, because he's a fucking badass. And I ended up leaving. Not that I didn't respect him when I met him or coming in, but I ended up leaving with a whole different kind of respect for him, as a person. Yes, as a performer, but as a person, I ended up actually admiring him.
I like to see him and Too Tough Tony in a tag team. I feel like they would fit really nicely together.
I definitely would never think that, but now that you say it, it's definitely it's definitely possible. And I would definitely like to get Tombstone Jesus for the clusterfuck this year, for sure.
Another one that I'll double here in chat was George South. They'd like to see if George South could come back sometime soon.
Yeah, George South is awesome. George South rules. I had wanted to have him a part of this Hammerstein show, but just ran out of time to kind of seal the deal. And but we haven't seen the last of George South in GCW.
Let's see. Any other questions, guys?
No, I think
how many people are watching?
We have 606 right now, but that could be off because of my internet issues. It could be a little different than that, but it says 600 right now.
Which, yeah, that's a touch low. So maybe you jumped out and jumped in.
Yeah, I apologize for the internet issues.
Let's see here. Was there anything else that came up? Tim Dayton, do you have any particular people you guys like to see for Tournament of Survival 10 returns, debuts, outsiders from the deathmatch scene?
Is this a question for me?
So sorry. Yes, it was. Do you have any particular people you would like to see for TOS 10? Like any returns?
Yeah, I have a few people in mind. I don't want to say them yet because I haven't necessarily booked them yet. So I don't want to tip my hat or tip my cards at all. I don't want to tip my pitches.
Nah. ZMZO just asked, return to Melrose Ballroom or the Roulette Intermedium this year?
Roulette will probably happen. Melrose Ballroom, not sure. Melrose Ballroom ended up getting very expensive, like very expensive. And it just doesn't make a ton of sense for us to run there at this time.
Jim had asked, coming back to Philly this year.
Yeah, I think so. We don't have a date yet, but I would like to get back to Philadelphia soon.
So let's see. Here's one. When can we get a GCW show in Western Canada?
We almost got one last year. Last year I talked to people in Vancouver, in Calgary, and Edmonton. It almost happened. So, I mean, I would say it could happen this year. Again, there's nothing set up yet, but I would say that it could happen.
Off the top of your head, were there any classic venues up there that you were trying to shoot for?
There's nothing that I was trying to shoot for, but the ones that were sort of mentioned and or theoretically available to us were cool.
All right, guys. Anything else? We've got him for a lot longer than we promised.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, we answered all the questions earlier. That one, all the fans seem to have got theirs for Hammerstein. Now it's turned into a Patreon mailbag.
A little bit, yeah.
I'm starting to notice that too. Speaking of which, jump over on Patreon when you get a chance. Brett will be doing a new mailbag very soon. And also, if you get the opportunity, go on to Patreon. The history of GCW will be tomorrow. We're going to be recording that. And if you have any questions for that, please put them up there. I'll make sure we put those in our notes and get.
Which one are we? What are we recording on?
Art of War Games.
Yeah, Art of War Games.
Oh man.
You'd posted that picture of the paper with the list, and you said there's a ton of stories here. Guess what?
Be ready for those stories.
Tomorrow night. We're gonna be talking, my friend.
You have to talk to my lawyers and seeing what's advisable and what's not.
No, I just wanted to say, Brett, thank you for your time last week and this week. I know it's been busy times, and you got London and everywhere else coming up, right?
Hey, I just want to say London is going to be really sick. It's sold out at Electric Ballroom. It's close to 800 people, which is another. It's kind of lost in the sauce here, being so close to Hammerstein and how significant that was. But I just want to make it. It should be recognized the magnitude of this accomplishment as well. Selling out a show here in London at Electric Ballroom is a big deal. And I'm very proud of that as well. I really can't wait to see the fans here. I've been wanting to do a show in London almost since day one. We've done Liverpool several times, and we've been a part of shows in London. But this is the first time having a GCW show in London, and it is sold out. So you better believe that we're bringing a authentic GCW show, and this one should be a very fun afternoon.
I'm going to put this in just because these are great last questions. Tim Dayton and Great Win. Brett, will Tremont be getting a new belt design for the UV Extreme Championship, or will he be rocking one or both of them for a while?
Well, what's wrong with the current UV design? I think it's so cool.
I think he was more asking. Unification. Yeah,
I think he was more asking, will it be condensed down to just the UV belt, or will he be rocking him Chris Jericho style for a little bit? Or
I think the Ultra Violent Championship has acquired the Extreme title in a merger, so I would say we'll probably won't see the Extreme title belt around anymore.
Matty 2 belts. I like it.
Well, Matty 1 belt.
Okay.
And going off of that, we be seeing more of Tremont on more shows as the defending new ultraviolet champion?
Well, GCW doesn't do death matches, so we don't really have a need, you know.
Oh, damn.
Oh, there's Cassidy. George South rules. How you doing, boss?
Oh, yep.
No, I'm sure we'll see more of Tremont. You know, Matt's a busy guy, so you know, with Matt, it's a lot of, you know, when it makes sense and when he's available. But you know, the UV title has never really been an every show title, so I think it's a when it applies and when there's, you know, when there's stuff that makes sense.
I'm going to stop right here, Brett. It's midnight on the East Coast. I only asked for 30 minutes. You gave us double that. I'm sure the listeners thank you.
Collective ticket packages go on sale this Friday.
That's right. I forgot to do the plug, man.
It's okay. It's never too late.
Never too late. Gosh, yeah, all the news is coming out for Las Vegas. That's super exciting.
Man, City got announced today.
Yeah.
Atlantic City, my birthday.
Oh,
Saturday show in Atlantic City on my birthday. I'll be right there.
You think everybody's going to come?
Oh, nobody comes to my birthdays.
Okay, didn't expect that.
All right, whatever. that fell flatter than I thought it would. All right, moving on.
I think he was talking about the show, but I guess
it
worked for your birthday.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody. Good
night. We just had a ton of fans, though, Brett, that just wanted to say much respect to you. Thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you for your time. And a lot of them wanted to say that you're appreciated and congratulations for an excellent past weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate all the support. It's good to know that there are people out there that that are enjoying it and making it known that, you know, our work is not in I don't know what the term is, but that it is not for nothing, you know. There's a lot of people that put their heart and soul into these shows. So you know, it's good to know that people recognize that and that it's, you know, worth the effort.
Every Tuesday, guy. We believe in you. We believe in you.
I appreciate it. I know you do. I appreciate it.
Thank you again, Brett, for your time. And hopefully speak to you here soon, some other time down the road, and have a good weekend weekend in Europe.
Future endeavors.
Yes. Best of luck in all of them. Talk to you guys next time.
Take care.
Have a good one, Brett.
See ya.
Oh my goodness. And now the show begins. Right. Now the review begins. How you guys feeling?
Good. Hopefully my internet's back. I thought the show was over. I was ready for the outro, man. I thought that was it. We got another show going on, man. All right. I guess we got a review. Hopefully my internet holds up for the next 2 hours.
No, you're good. Right. Yeah. So anybody who was worried about a review, now is the review. Now the show has started. We're going to get in deep. Our East Coast correspondent is with us tonight. He was there live. We're going to have a great time. Yeah, the end of show jump share.
I think it just cost us viewership.
Yeah.
What are we Raw on Netflix now doing the jump scare on the end card?
Raw is war.
Well, again,
right. All rise in the case of the people versus GCW.
It's time. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, you wanna announce this, B, and we will get kicking some ass.
So once again, at the bottom, quick review. Allie Katch's GoFundMe is at the bottom if you want to show her support. And yeah, we're gonna get right into the People versus GCW Hammerstein Ballroom, New York, and go right on into it, John.
If I may.
Can't see
John?
you, but yeah, go ahead.
Sorry,
there we
go. My camera's well now. Count one: inciting a riot with doors, tables, and chairs.
Very nice. So let me.
I think you jumped ahead about 10 minutes there, but okay.
No, we're gonna.
Oh right, yeah, for shit. Oh yeah, I forgot. We have the.
It's like an intro-y kind of thing. I'll just go ahead and get rolling here. The venue is gorgeous. I feel like I love everything they did. I would have hung more GCW flags on the balcony. I look at it as you bought the place for a night, move in. Company branding everywhere. It'll be in everyone's pictures, whether by choice or not. The doors open at 6. The first match kicked off at 7. You're going to be okay, V. Not a lot of people in their seats in the beginning. Of course, this is normally how it always starts out.
That was just a matter of doors were kind of slow. So
yeah. I'm still open to letting the Game Changer Patreon members in 15 minutes early for the first pick of merch and maybe grab some signatures and whatnot.
I want to ask about that because that happened at the first one. We got in a little earlier on the first one. Frank, do you know anything about that one?
No idea. There was nobody from GCW proper outside. I think it was all building staff outside. I think it was whoever was in line first was just, waiting there until proper doors. There was no inklings I would have heard, because I would have heard something from somebody saying that, oh yeah, Patreon gets in early tonight. There was nobody that.
I kind of started that at the first Hammerstein show. Like we were in line and like my wife just said sign up for it, so I kind of just like quickly signed up for it.
B, could you highlight Jumbo there? Hammerstein changed. There was rules. It was all Hammerstein staff.
Yeah, so. And at the first one too, it was all Hammerstein, and yeah, it was like I got lucky. I just showed the security guys like, yeah, sure, I guess walk. And he just walked me and my family right up front. We cut the line and walked right in. It was like, but no one else followed us. Like no one else said anything. It was kind of, yeah, I got lucky that time.
So I noticed that people were. That's the truth. People were rough on Brett for his opening speech because he had notes. He explained he's not an actor and wrote something out during the kickoff show. Completely understood. I would say, being a hard ass, for something so big, I'd be spending hours on it at home. But at the same time, I also don't own his business. I also don't have those kids. So I can't say what I would do in his position. I can only account for my own. But in the end, it was him out of his comfort zone, expressing himself, and I felt it was extremely heartfelt. Is there anything you guys had to say about that? Or how did that go down live?
It sounded great live. I mean, it was very much banging the drum, rattling the cages, riling up the troops kind of speech. And privately, we had a couple words about that, John. But I think it hit exactly the notes it needed to hit. About just making sure that it. I think the speech could have been more towards, fuck those other companies that came in here. We'll show them how you're supposed to do a show in Hammerstein. But either way, I think it was just Brett being loud in the ring, just trying to get the energy up in the room. I think it went fine.
I think he was feeling adrenaline. He's standing in the middle of the Hammerstein room. His company is renting it. 1,500 plus fans waiting to consume the product. That's success. More than I've ever had in wrestling. So I would say the show went well, despite there were some vocal doubters. And to be honest with you, he made it to the dance for a second time. So again, that's 2 more than I would have ever gotten. 55 performers touched their boots inside the GCW ring that night. This was a super card with 16 matches. Brett learned from the first show and stuck to mostly all homegrown talent. And that point was driven home. Commentary jumps on, and we have Dave Prazak with Jordan Castle. I have to say, on behalf of all of us here, welcome back, Dave.
Welcome back, Dave. You've been truly missed.
We love you, Dave, really, and we just want to see you get back here as soon as possible, brother. Jordan did great. Nick did awesome. Veda also. I would say both Jordan and Nick, especially though, did some great work back and forth with Prazak. It was kind of straightforward, Jerry the King Lawler type. It was lighter on collar commentary. I would say here, Dave is being JR. What are you thinking?
I was thinking there's no shot at the two guys from Fightful that did the kickoff show, but I would have rather hear Jordan and Nick Manawan, and they're just as knowledgeable as they were about all the talent, especially in that Rumble match. The two guys from Fightful, they did a pretty good job of naming names and some moves, but like I feel like Jordan, that's like his specialty, especially on the West Coast shows. He knows all the talent, and in that little short frame, especially since they never got like even a full entrance, I thought it would have been kind of cool if Jordan just quit getting in there. I think he would have provided a little bit more context to the wrestlers in the ring instead of just the action, and that's what I mean. The Fightful TV guys were kind of calling the action, which is good. But
Josh Chernoff and Dave Sturcio, just for the record. So
yeah, I know Chernoff. I forgot the other guy's name. Yeah, Dave. So yeah, like I said, I didn't mind them doing it. I just think Jordan and especially Nick Manawan, that both of them would have been better suited in that position because of what they provide. But I second what you said. They absolutely killed it all night. And yeah, it was nice having Prazak back for sure.
The two guys, I will say one thing only to be kind. I think that was a goal for them to like announce one match. So I also want to say for someone who kind of has a similar goal, good job on hitting that one match though.
That was the thought. I'm thinking like, let everybody play in the game at least once. I can't fault him for that.
Reed Harris Cooper said how many he got hit by the mute bug. Oh no. You know what's funny is B is having the problems I had for the last week or two.
Yeah, B's mic just died.
Yeah, there he is.
And now his camera died. He's not doing great tonight.
I hear you, dude. Keep talking for a second.
Go. Just go.
Yeah, this poor guy. I feel for him tonight, man. Everybody, if you've ever had freaking problems of any kind, poor B is having every technological problem you could ask for right now. Outside of the Hammerstone, holy shit, haven't heard of his name in a while. Outside of the Hammerstein, do you guys feel this show could have been broken into two separate nights?
Absolutely. If you told me that this card was the complete card for any Atlantic City weekend that doesn't end with Of Survival, I would absolutely believe you.
What about you, B?
Yeah, but there's no way I would have ran it in 2 nights. No shot. Yeah. Like I think it definitely had enough matches and talent for sure. And yeah, thanks, Braywood. And I think it could have been broken up time-wise and would have gave it to the time space. This, you know what I'm saying, man.
If this was 2 nights in Atlantic City or 2 nights in Harrah's in Philly, I would absolutely believe you that this entire card was both nights in Philly or Atlantic City. But, specifically because I think there was a lot of let everybody get their Hammerstein moment in. I think that's what led to a little bit of the glut here. I'm going to say glut, but, just let everybody get in at least once. There was a lot of this could have been trimmed down to be a tight 10 or a tight 11. And here we are calling an 11-match card tight in comparison, but it is what it is.
I found a couple matches that I might have cut, but I found quite a few.
Great one saying something. Allie and Effie is a classic main event night 1, main event night 2 kind of stip.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. What do you say, B? We go into night 1 or match 1 before anything else goes wrong?
I don't want to get yelled at no more. My internet's yelling at me. Blake's yelling at me. We're going to get started here. So first match of the evening was the kickoff scramble as the one called Manders, Blake Christian, Fuego del Sol, Marcus Mathers, Mr. Danger, and Rich Swan are the participants.
This was a classic GCW scramble start. I felt if you're going to get the GCW experience, you better start with the GCW scramble. This kind of followed the same formula from the first one. Blake with the Vanilla Baby comes out to whips and chains. High level of physicality out of him in this match that if I see that more, I don't care what character he gives me, just that kind of physicality was so impressive. You know. Mander's last match before he goes overseas for a couple months, he will be missed, and we also want to wish him happy trails until we see him again. Mr. Danger was absolutely exciting. Fuego worked his ass off here. Our winner was one called Manders. It was an 11-minute match. I'm going to leave it right there and let you both kind of tell me what you think about this one.
I unfortunately I missed most of this match just because I had issues getting into the building and getting into my seats. I saw some of it like just through the doors, but I unfortunately I can't comment on the live experience just because there was just so much going on and I was just way too busy to actually catch this match. And here comes Blake breathing down my neck saying, "How the fuck did you miss my match?" There was so much wrestling on that night too.
So I was going to ask you, did you watch it, gone trailer yet, or no?
I watched it, and it's just so much spots. Like, I'm going to sound like an asshole because I'm on a podcast about wrestling, and I can't remember a wrestling match. But
hey, no, dude, we do that all.
No, I just wanted to ask. I wasn't asking for that way. I was actually just honest, like for your reaction, because. Yeah, I was at the first one and then watching it live. I had two different experiences watching it in live and being there. So I just want to see your thoughts on that.
It was a lot closer watching it on TV this time because hard cam was right over my left shoulder. You probably saw me a bunch of times from the hard cam where like my viewing angle from the main stage hard cam was so close to where I was. I was 7 rows back, right on the ramp. So it wasn't as different than it was on some nights in Atlantic City where I'll be standing off to the left of hard cam and it's a completely different angle.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I just wanted to see their thoughts on that one, just because I know how I felt and I just wanted to see if it was a similar reaction. My notes on the scramble. I was disappointed to see Blake and Manders on the pre-show, considering everything they've done for GCW since the last Hammerstein show. It was a star-studded scramble for sure. Everyone shined. I loved what Fuego did, busting out the 650. Marcus Mathers with that top rope avalanche destroyer. But I think Blake was on another level here with the 450 stomp. Rich Swann with the 450 knees. Moonsault to the outside. Avalanche destroyer. Like, it was just a top-tier scramble. It was like one of those ones that we just kind of don't talk about, like going into it as excited, but just kind of at the end of it, it's like, holy shit. And I think it was a really, really strong start to have the first night of Hammerstein. And I was happy to see Manders get the victory at least, and Blake get the shine, and Fuego and everyone else get their time as well.
I think Blake's in a situation right now where he has two fantastic characters to choose from. I'm still not over the last one. And now this one here, same. I feel like is dead on. I feel like it was just, he needed an attitude adjustment, and he needed to just maybe, I don't know, just whatever he chose to do in the ring. People were like, damn, what the hell was that? People at my house were watching it. They were like, oh my God, what in the hell was that? And that's what I used to say all the time at GCW. So homage to him for that one for sure.
All right. Then afterwards, go ahead, John. I don't want to take your next statement there.
Oh, no sweat. I really should have been talking already, and I wasn't. I feel like we're all kind of thrown off tonight. I'm actually a little sick and under the weather. Screw it. You know, yeah, there were backstage interviews of Allie and Effie. I thought they did a great job. Jordan Castle looks like he's disco ready, and I love it. That backstage interview looks somewhat familiar to listeners that really liked Frank's work. So, so yeah, if you get a chance, just check it out. He said he's no face. I'm so sorry, Blake. He's no face. He's just vanilla. Don't give a shit. Love you either way, man.
What?
Just you guys are like, yeah.
I could. I don't. I mean, we got a lot to talk about, and I know I'm on a time limit here. My first sentence of that statement was kind of my opening overall thoughts of that first one, and I don't want to. That could go into another conversation. So, all right, next match is the Kickoff Rumble, and I'm not going to say all those names. John, do you want me to say? Okay, you know what? No. We got to say it because it wasn't said on there, so someone's got to say it.
I can do it. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So for our Kickoff Rumble, we had PCO 2 Tough Tony with Violent J, Ariel Van Gogh, Austin, Luke, Bam Sullivan, Big Vin, Bobby Flacco, Brooke Havoc, CPA, Crowbar, Drew Blood, Dylan McKay, Facade, Frightmare, JP Grayson with Violent J, Jeffrey, John, Mark, Angel, Rob Shit, Sam Stackhouse, Shane Mercer, Sleeper Red, Starboy, Charlie, Titus Alexander, Tommy Grayson with Violent J, and Zeta Steel.
Wow.
Right there. Yeah, that's it for the night. I just blew the fucking engine. Happy to see Big Vin back. There were Big Vin chants. How did that sound coming across live? I think people have been waiting to see him again.
We miss Vin. He hasn't even been around. Like usually at a GCW show in Jersey, you can see him lurking around, but he has been neither hide nor hair of Big Vin has been around. So I was glad to see him get back in the Rumble.
What about you, B?
Yeah, it was cool seeing him back. That was actually a surprise name. I wasn't expecting, that's for sure.
Yeah. Too Tough Tony was putting in work. If you could tell, anytime you saw knees flying over heads, funny thing, it was actually Too Tough Tony flying off of a top rope somewhere. Mercer kicked Tony's bottle off the mat. Did anyone notice it broke? There was like this huge thing. Yeah, it broke, and you could hear the fans right near it go, "Oh,
party foul!" Yeah, I heard the party fouls, but
yeah. Violent J was there. I was hoping Violent J was more of an antagonist since GCW versus JCW is coming up.
Yeah, this whole Juggalo Championship Wrestling invasion meta sort of sub angle hasn't been emphasized enough. That if they're going to say this, because I'm assuming that this can only lead to a show at a certain collection of fans of a certain music group somewhere in the Midwest. So
hell yeah. Also, old school. I wish I had the classic ECW side view for the Mercer tossing of Brooke Havoc into the crowd, just like Bam Bam had thrown. I wish I had the classic so that we could actually see the distance he threw her, because it looks like it was a pretty good distance.
Someone took a pretty good fan video of it to get kind of talking about what you said.
Nice. Our winner in this one was PCO.
Let's get Reed who was sitting catty corner to me on the other side of the ring. CPA got a huge chant.
Really?
He's been in Jersey, like the Jersey scene for a while. So just to see him pop up, and his gimmick is it's so dumb. It's great again. It loops back around, and just to see him rip off 4 matching dress shirts stacked on top of each other.
The clip-on tie spot always gets me.
Yeah, always, yeah.
I like seeing him a little bit here, a little bit there, because you kind of know the gimmick, even if you've seen it a couple times. So it's like, if someone tells a joke every now and then instead of telling the same joke over and over. So in pieces, I like him.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I don't know if we've seen it, but we got to get Santana Jackson versus CPA.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a good one. For the Rumble, I wrote down, as I said earlier, I felt bad there was no entrances for them, or at least a name drop. As Reed said, even when you get it tossed out, at least get your name dropped there. Cool surprises for the match. As you were saying, Too Tough Tony for me was the kind of the sleeper. It was kind of cool seeing them come out with Violent J. I thought for sure that was going to lead to a victory for that, as you were saying, Frank, to maybe further along that story of having something to hold over in GCW. I don't know. But it was cool seeing Brooke Havoc at the spotlight as Ariel Van Gogh, Flacco. All the names was kind of very cool to see get time, and seeing some new names that I've never seen before coming from
a couple
GCW.
Names we haven't seen in a minute pop back up. Like Crowbar was there,
Dylan
McKay, Facade. Like I think last time we saw Facade was just as a field filler in the clusterfuck.
Or 4th of July usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this much though. I'm not a huge. B knows this. I'm not a huge Dylan McKay fan, but welcome back Dylan McKay back to the ring, because I don't know if he was gonna come back or if he'd moved on to other things. So I'll take an unexpected surprise for sure.
There he is. What's up,
dude?
Man? It was awesome seeing you there, man. It was awesome you get the moment there. Yeah, I enjoyed the scramble though. I did like it, or not the scramble, the rumble. I was just a little shocked on PCO getting the victory.
Well, speaking of PCO.
Oh, we didn't get there yet? My bad.
No. We are getting there right now, actually. Our winner was PCO. Emil welcomed PCO back to the company. He says he's worked for TNA for over 3 years, and he wanted to do something for a long time. He says, give me the tools. He's given a chair, sledgehammer, and the TNA Digital Media Championship. He starts to hammer the title. Fans are chanting PCO. Emil's trying to stop PCO. Then PCO grabs the mic, said he sold out the biggest house in TNA history. He sold more t-shirts than any TNA superstar. And right around there was where GCW cuts the live shot and goes to a video package. Later that night, PCO took to social media to express his frustrations with TNA management. He said he ended his association with TNA due to personal grievances. This incident has sparked discussions about PCO's future in wrestling and the implications for his relationship with both TNA and GCW. What are your guys' thoughts on that situation?
Well, while they cut away, both Emil and Adam Galt dove into the ring to try and stop PCO from doing what he was doing. At first, I just thought it was part of the bit, and then I saw the genuine terror, for lack of a better phrase, in their eyes that I don't think they were working kind of look. And that's when it's like, oh, okay, that's where we're going with this.
Someone saying MLJ jumping in for that hammer was the craziest moment of the night. Ballsiest. This is ballsiest moment of the night.
I thought he was committing career suicide. You know, that's 2 people in the last couple months that have come to GCW and aired their grievances about their previous company. So I was kind of concerned about that.
That was my first thought too. I was like, oh shit, we don't need this to overshadow everything going into this show.
Yeah, he's like, welcome back, PCO. He's like, fuck TNA. So
right.
Before he started going off on the belt, I thought he was going to be doing something like adding a crown to his weird Frankenstein headgear or something along that line. I thought bringing the tools was like, okay, he's got a sledgehammer. I thought he was going to be like, it was like fake forging something onto his his weird chain headgear
shoulder
thing.
Or something. Yeah, something.
Yeah.
When he said, give me my tools, and then he put the belt out, I'm like, is this my Medusa? What is like?
That chair collapsed.
It took all the pay. It took all the hits. The belt was missed 3 times.
Hey, that's a big man.
PCO was mad. Yeah, PCO was like, fuck this. I don't care. I'm swinging.
Dude, that shit
in my earpiece, I heard stop him.
Hey, no shit. If you go back and look, you can see a true wrestling history fan watch what was going down live. And it's like, oh my God. I saw, if anybody's going to appreciate what was happening or actually scared about what was happening, it was going to be Emil.
All right, I'm going to throw a random shot in the dark, but I'm throwing something out there right now.
Okay.
Not for you. Not for the
No,
show,
you're good.
Yeah,
you're good. Yeah, Emil, good job doing the best you could given the situation. You tried to interject yourself without being too aggressive. That was a man who was pissed off. Like I said, he's brick thick. You don't want to fuck with him too much. He probably shits half the weight of most of the people in that locker room. So, it takes a lot. But when I saw, you've watched enough wrestling, I saw Adam's face and I'm like, okay, this is real. He's not doing the, hey, acting out, doing. No,
yeah, the ref. No, totally don't jump off that balcony. No.
Yeah,
that was.
Yeah. Well, yeah, again, Emil, I think you did a good job considering the circumstances. You're now a part of history. Congratulations. Considering that, for better or for worse, see, Emil's, I was scared. Hey, again, just like Brett said, he's a little out there. If he was willing to sneak that by and do that, what else would he be capable of? What if he couldn't get that microphone away from PCO and he just decided to keep rattling on? And I feel like he could have switched that microphone to the right hand and held both 2 or 3 guys off. But in this day and age, doing stuff like that on TV isn't, on Triller TV, he probably would have gotten more traction online, to be fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just looking at overall audience. There are billions online. Triller
like if
TV
you just
has
did it
so
as
many.
a straight up Instagram reel or a straight up Twitter video instead of like doing it as like, the middle of a match in some other show.
Also, Emil, I also noticed, I think it was you or Alec adjusted enough to where you didn't get kicked on the entrance this time. He got booted. Was that a week or 2 ago? He got cracked by Alec on the entrance.
All right. Anything else for the Rumble?
I think we covered.
I think that's. I will say the one thing that is up. I'm muted. All right. Okay. Can you hear me?
Muted. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry about that. I really do think it's StreamYard. I think it's our streaming tonight because I didn't touch anything and it was just all of a sudden, Okay, so the most important thing I think that was important to me for the night, because again, I'm a commentary guy, Dave Prazak was announced that he is in the building and ready to get to work. The fans were very happy to see him back. And that's where we opened the show. 1,500 plus hopeful. For an amazing night of wrestling, and boy, did we have a spectacle ahead on this main card.
Frank, you were at the first one, correct?
I was at the first Hammerstein. Yes, I was up in the rafters. I was with the group of people who put the Cardona bedsheet over the rail on the first Hammerstein show.
How was the crowd going into it? Because I thought this crowd sounded fantastic. It was loud. Everything came across really good going into the main show.
The crowd was still there. The crowd carried well. I think since I was behind the proscenum arch since I was behind where the curtain would land, if this was a traditional play setup, because the Hammerstein Ballroom is kind of a weird room where anybody who was on that hard cam side, basically, closer than the side boxes, you are technically backstage at any other show. So, I think the acoustics are weird, so you really can't get as much of a grasp as if you could if you were in a smaller room, say the Terminal or the UCC or anything like that, just because the acoustics in there are designed for a very specific kind of presentation, and a crowd of people all shouting at a central location in the room, I don't think does the room as much justice as it could.
Okay.
Huh.
So any notes I have on like the crowd being loud or not, you could very much will be the absolute opposite of what I'm thinking and what I'm saying. So
we'll just cut the shit. Mr. Close Calls over there was stoned off his ass to a point to where he doesn't remember the show. Does that sound right, or does that sound like a wish?
Okay. It's a little bit of A, a little bit of B. Shut up.
Gotcha. Yeah. I also wanted to mention here that Ash was listening to everything. John had just posted here to me, you, the side view of the toss from Mercer. So if you get a chance, or any listeners, please, thank you, Ash. Go check that out on our page on Ash. One of the three of. Oh, that is a hell of a. Oh yeah, that was a fucking throw. Yes, thank you so much, Ash, for shooting that across. This is what I'm talking about. Team effort over here. I think that's all I had to say about those two opening matches. Yeah. Anything else?
No.
Sweet.
Yeah. Here we go. All right. To open the night, we had the GCW Extreme Championship and Ultraviolent Championship unification match. The competitors were Matt Tremont, Maki Ito, Brandon Kirk, Dr. Redacted, Drew Parker, John Wayne Murdoch, Matthew Justice, Rina Yamashita, and
Cyclope.
Cyclope was added at the end.
Yeah, I didn't add it to my notes, but we certainly added. That's why I jumped in with you there. I'm like, okay, he's
okay. Now may I count one, inciting a riot with doors, ladders, and chairs?
So sorry, man. Yes, sir. Now it's your time to shine. So do you want to explain to everybody, because I know quite a few people probably had just jumped in the last half hour.
For all the people, which is probably everyone in this room who doesn't follow me on Twitter, I was live tweeting every match as they were announced or as they were confirmed by video package or whatever, and putting some joke crime associated with them. And they got slightly more unhinged as the night went on, and I ran out of crimes towards the end of the show.
Side note, Alec Price just posted an hour ago that the Garbage Daddies will be in Los Angeles on March 1st at GCW versus Violence is Forever. So I know there were a couple people in chat asking about the situation on March 1st. According to Alec himself an hour ago, so we're talking, what time is it? We're talking midnight on the East Coast. He was letting everybody know on X that we will be seeing him at GCW.
That is awesome.
All right. Well, this is Brandon Kirk's last match. I can say this much. He went out in style. A beautiful psycho driver through a ladder.
Use its government name. The Psycho Driver, fuck your life. All one word, all caps.
I want to say also, again, I've said on behalf a couple times, but B and I especially feel like we're very thankful that we got the Kirk interview that we did when we did. It was his longest interview, his most in-depth interview, and we got it almost at the right time. We had a chance.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, no, go finish your thought. I'm sorry. I cut in too early.
Oh, I was only going to say that we like to talk to everybody after the show and sometimes before the show. And he was one of those gentlemen that he's just so down to earth, likable, kind, unassuming, that this is somebody that, I mean, excellent conversationalist too. We had a great time talking to him. So on this end, again, it's not like I know the gentleman personally, but I can say after about hour 2 or 3, it's really hard for you to lie. It's hard for you to keep a face. I don't care how smart you are. And that's why we love the long form interviews, is because hour 2, hour 3, you can't hide, man. Whoever you are is going to start coming out. Yeah. And that's what we're looking for. So wanted to kind of put that out
I was going to say, for the last Psycho Driver, if you go find the struggles on your social media of choice, he posted from one of the side boxes of him live commentating over his phone the last Psycho Driver the way it properly should be from ETU or other deathmatch fed of your choice. And if you want to hear it the right way that move should be commentated, go find it on Twitter. It's there.
Here's where I'm going to get hard ass, and let's see if anybody wants to join me. Kudos to John Wayne Murdoch saying, "You don't belong here, Tamaki Ito. Chuds everywhere." The deathmatch hardcore purists, I say, would also agree. That's the dead honesty sometimes I feel like the company needs, because that's what the fans are really thinking. She's fully welcome, just better utilized elsewhere. Any thoughts on that?
I think she was in there exclusively just to get rid of the extreme belt. I mean, that on paper, when you're looking at it from, the top down, not as a storyline, just, with the nuts and bolts. Yeah, it makes sense to throw her in there. And she took some good bumps. She took the Drew Parker bump.
That's what I was about to say. She was happy to take those bumps. I think she wanted to prove a point in this match to go against John Wayne Murdoch. And it was cool to see her step out of her comfort zone.
I mean, in another life, in another building, I think we would have seen a couple more spots out of Maki that we probably couldn't see in New York City. But that's neither here nor there.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and admit to this one, and I'll have to live it down later. I hated Maki's entrance for the longest time, and after a while, I think it's like hearing a song too many times. You get to like it. Now I'm like, bring her out, let her lip sync. Let's just go. Stupid ass music. I shouldn't like it, but I like it a little bit somewhere. I'm 45. I shouldn't like that. This is going to be a 6-way. We ended with 9. I think the unexpectedness of the whole thing was incredible. It was the violence, though. They put on one hell of a show and did not need glass. And I think that may have been one of the bigger points here that needed to be driven home. You don't think you're going to have an exciting show with any kind of violence? We're going to give it to you. And here it was in handfuls.
There were definitely a couple people who were familiar with GCW in name around me, but aren't, dyed in the wool as we are, that we know, you're in New York State, Blood Allowed, who were calling for glass, who were calling for skewers, who wanted to see, carve them up. They wanted to see people bleed, they wanted that mat blood red. But of course, you can't, and yeah, you can't scream out in the middle of a wrestling show, "We can't do it here, dumbass."
Right. Yeah.
So
this match was match of the night. I thought it was the best way to start the show. It went above and beyond everything that I thought they were going to do in New York City at Hammerstein. John, you worded it perfectly. I said it a couple times that night in a Twitter space with Screwball. I think that was like the perfect way to kind of show the fans of, hey, if Tremont travels with the belt and the UV belt just travels with whoever's the champion, I think they showed you what kind of matches they could still have under the ultraviolet umbrella while still also staying within the confines of whatever venue or rules that is applied to them at that place. So I think they did a really, really good job. And I expected a lot from this match. It blew it out of the water for me. Like, I left that first match like super excited for the rest of the night. And it was I don't think they could have opened it any other way. Dr. Redacted went crazy. He showed out. Justice went crazy with their crazy spots. Ciclope and Rena, like everybody shined. Everybody showed what they were all about and why they deserve to be in that match. And I think even Maki Ito just kind of getting in there and taking some of those bumps. And I think she's done that a lot in GCW, is go outside her comfort zone. And I was just happy to see her kind of do that with this one. Like when I saw her at the end of that Drew Parker bump and I saw her rolling over, I'm like, was she supposed to be there? Like, who fucked that up? But she tweeted out saying she wanted to do that. So it was cool to see. And I just wanted to shout out every single competitor. They couldn't have opened the show any better way than they did.
And our winner here was Matt Tremont with all that buzz. A Redacted loss really hurt the crowd here. I think especially deathmatch fans, they didn't get what they wanted. I'm just saying that because I've been in the building live when Redacted is, announced, and the place goes nuts. Did that happen here also?
Oh yeah, Redacted was huge.
I still say strike when the iron's hot, but on the other hand, Matt Tremont isn't a terrible choice to carry our title, but what does he gain from it?
I think,
what did the fans gain?
I think that there was the large contingent of the Chuds were there exclusively chanting for Redacted, and not having him win exactly what we were saying, he's a Long Island guy. So
strike while the iron's hot.
He's been so fucking red hot, he was the loudest chance at the NGI.
And LA at the UCC.
And LA, and the match with Joey on New Year's.
What's up, B? He's cooking. B's cooking something. What's up, man?
I'm waiting for my internet to catch up first and foremost.
Oh,
here.
okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I've been clicking these things. Like they're on like such a delay. I click it, it just still stays there, and then it pops up. So I will have to say this. I ultimately thought Justice would have been the perfect name to kind of reignite him. Kind of what Brett was saying. Reigniting a old name to maybe some new unfamiliar faces. I think Tremont is a feel-good moment, and I don't hate it. I kind of have the same concerns as Great One did. We don't see Tremont ever on the West Coast, and that's like West Coast
and
fans.
Redacted, I think Redacted, if you give the belt to Redacted, that puts a vote of confidence into that next generation of deathmatch that's just coming up now. Your Tommy Vendettas, your MM3s, this newer guard.
I'm not.
I'm gonna go. I am. I'm gonna go against it here. I love Redacted. I think he should be champion. If I had to pick it, yes. I think it's just too soon. And like as Great One said here,
I understand. Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
I know. I was just gonna say, like, I think he only wrestled less than 10 matches in GCW. I want to see the slow burn on him. I want to see Tremont being like the leader and kind of face of the Ultraviolet champion.
Strapping a rocket on somebody doesn't hurt every now and again. And the reaction to Doc was so visceral, so quickly. I would absolutely justify it. When it comes to somebody like how often did people say they wanted to put the belt on Zilla 10 matches into his career? Not 10 matches into his GCW career, his career.
Yeah. But here's my thing. We put that belt on Redacted. He loses it. Then what? You've built nothing for him to do anything after that point. I want to see him
let him defend it for 2 months, and then you realize, okay, I came in and I can do this, and then it doesn't have to be I'm hungry and I want the belt storyline. You can do actual stories with deathmatch. Yeah. It just doesn't have to be, fuck you, I want the belt, you have it, I want it, my toy. It doesn't have to just be that.
I see a build coming up here. I can see like a Daniel Bryan build of the fans just their Dr. Redacted every time he kind of doesn't get there, gets the loss or not quite getting that moment. I think that's going to be the build up. I think for him, like right now, that's kind of, I agree with you. I love Redacted. I would love to see him as champion. Like that's why I hate kind of saying this. I think it's just too early right now.
Right. You need to earn it.
And I agree with everything you guys say though. I would love to strap him up, and I think he was hot enough where he would excel to another level at this point. But then you take the belt off, and then now what? We go back to what he was before the belt, and that was not really nothing. I think let him kind of carve out something now.
You have the belt. You have John Wayne winning the UV belt. You take the belt off him. What's he doing now? He's just doing these
But that's John Wayne
wrestling.
Murdoch.
Whatever.
He's got like a legendary name where he doesn't have to sit here and build and create his character. Dr. Redacted is kind of new in GCW. He's got to build and create a character to have something to fall back on at this point in his GCW career.
I love it. We have disagreement. Everybody in chat will feel like they get their voice heard. I love this. This is the good stuff, honestly.
Take down the GCW logos and put up the PTI logos. Let's go. Let's just go full PTI. Come on.
John, do you know my idea, Frank? Did you tell him my idea?
I have never told him anything about anything. I think ideas are like gold. So
okay, I might have said we'll go back to that conversation.
And opinions are like assholes. Carry on.
No, I agree with you. I thought it would have been a very cool moment for Doc, but I just think it's too soon right now. Like that was my opinion.
And chat is agreeing with B in handfuls right now. Great One said that he's 0 in wins right now. There we go.
He's super over. Like I'm not denying that. I love the guy. I am so happy he's in, and he's excelling. I had expectations for him to be hot and kind of have a kind of cult background following that he's had. I never expected it to grow it as often in every show he's done it.
Yeah,
he's knocked it out of the park.
Rose has said that Doc has 0 wins, but the Doc has that quality to him that shoot me if I'm going to say this, but the Undertaker has, where it doesn't matter what the actual results of his match are. The fact is that he's there doing the damn thing.
I see that.
Is why you want to see him. It doesn't matter if he wins or loses. He's in there and he jumps off a fucking balcony with a trash can over his head. You just want to see that. It doesn't matter.
Right.
And he's going to be defending that belt if he was champion at these LA shows, at the Phoenix shows, at the West Coast shows.
Yeah.
And now going East Coast. I that's what I'm saying. I agree with you. I love your idea. I agree with you. I love Doc, but I just, as of right now, I don't think it would have been a cool moment, but I want a slow burn to even bigger moment possibly.
All right.
That's just my thing. I love the Doc, man. He killed it. They all killed it. This was easily the match of the night for me.
Easily.
All right. I don't want to go past John's notes here, but we'll come back if he needs to. Next match was the Effie versus Allie Katch GCW World Championship Contender match.
Count 2, backstabbing a sister.
I missed that one that night. I love that one. That one's awesome. All right, Frank, I'll let you go first there because I know John's gonna have a lot to say when he comes back.
I'm just gonna say, look at us. Look at us in a holding pattern around an Effie and Allie match. Yeesh. That was a dark joke. I'm sorry.
Dude, I love chat actually our chat is probably some of the best fucking chat because people can talk and disagree and everything is cool as fuck. This is the first subject B that we've seen on our show where there was like a pretty
50,
good divide across the board. Yeah.
And I'm not disagreeing with anything Frank is saying. Like, I'm agreeing with it. I just timing wise.
Yeah. No, I can totally see that's why they didn't do it. But
so since this is a unification, this could be maybe the reestablishment of the importance of the belt and the violence it signifies.
Yeah.
So
it definitely got muddled because the extreme. If I, in a complete vacuum, if I told you that there was 2 championship belts, the ultraviolet and the extreme belt, and it would be that meme of they're the same picture.
I want to find out how much it costs to sponsor this damn extreme belt here. I want to book this damn belt, man. Like, I don't like it going away. I love how it's combining everything.
Really?
It's going away. Yeah.
Sorry, Frank. John, I think we had a pretty good chat over a jazz cigarette or two, discussing what we could have done with the.
He had the cigarettes. I had the jazz.
Yeah, the laser lettuce. Brand's dead.
Never heard those two before.
Devil's lettuce. Yeah.
Oh, I heard laser lettuce.
Yeah,
he said laser lettuce too.
Okay.
That there could have been some things that the extreme belt could have done, but I think they were too in depth and they were too complicated to actually do. I think I was talking to John about the idea of make this extreme belt sort of like the belt that whoever owns it at that moment, they infuse their flavor into it. So if Drew Parker was the extreme champion, it would lean more towards a deathmatchy belt. If a Blake held it, it would be more, leaning towards that flippy shit belt. And it kind of ebbs and flows with whoever's holding it, just to give that ever so much more variety, because it didn't matter what the identity of the extreme belt was. It didn't have an identity. It was just another strap for someone to hold on the card at whatever given moment they needed to put a belt on somebody.
Yeah.
I think they could have used that belt to help elevate.
Clown put it right on the nose. It's an X Division belt. Absolutely.
Damn it. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I think it should have been X Division belt. Like, I would put it on someone like a Vikingo, like a Akeem. Yeah. Like those people that do something that's different that what you see in regular wrestling.
But I think we're covered pretty well with the JCW slotting into that IC secondary belt right now. That the extreme belt is just kind of pushed out into the cold.
Too many stars, not enough pedestals.
Yeah.
Don't know. I still think unless I start seeing some cards with 6 belts being defended and more than one belt, I think there's room for an extreme belt still. Unfortunately, that's just my selfish opinion.
But in the grand scheme of things, if this is how the dominoes fell, unifying it and just getting rid of it, that's probably the cleanest and the safest option.
I agree with that.
There was a lot of confusion with fans over the years between the difference between the two. So maybe Brett just got tired of explaining that over and over too, because he got that question all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna see maybe what you guys think about this idea. I would have split this into 2 matches. GCW is a hardcore company. I mean, it's variety, but any hardcore match would be better than any average to good wrestling match. I would have combined Effie, Allie, Mance for the main event to make room, and then split this into 2 separate hardcore matches.
I think where we would cut and trim fat from this card, I think that's a whole other discussion we should have towards the end of the show, because I think that question is too intertwined with too many other matches.
Smart. Yeah, we can do that. I'll keep that for a little later when we're
because there's just too many other moving parts in that question that we haven't covered other matches for besides. But I mean, if you're gonna have an 8-way car crash of a hardcore match, that did the job. That was fine. Everybody got their spots in. It's good. Like, I posted a picture of the double trash can jump. I think that having those people in such a large match, it was fine. I'm not arguing. How long did it go?
This one went give me a second. 15 minutes and 55 seconds.
16 minutes for 18 people. Jesus Christ. For 8 people, 9 people. Yeah. I mean, you had like people just taking, Avalanche, Death Valley drivers into tables every other minute. So I mean, like 16 minutes, that spaces out just fine. Like, I'm not mad at this match at all.
Nope.
It was a beautiful car crash. It was. People might have said, why did they front load the most exciting match? But I think that's what they wanted to do. I think they wanted that excitement, they wanted everybody to be so overloaded from the top that they would still carry that energy all the way through. And that kind of leads us into why that energy didn't follow through with that second match.
All right, John, we already announced it again real fast. GCW World Championship #1 contender match, Effie versus Allie Katch.
I'm starting to realize that all of us are half dead and we're literally leaning on each other.
Frank's the only one not having issues tonight, man.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah.
I am powered by caffeine right now. Let's just go.
I'm about to say, it's midnight. Yeah, we got about another hour. All right.
Yes. So, match 4? Or did you have something?
Oh, no. I was going to say, well, I did my intro of count 2 backstabbing assistant.
Oh, shit. We forgot. Yeah.
I said it while you were gone. So, and then I said the joke about how, oh, great, we're in a stoppage around the match. Can't
go back to it twice, man.
John wasn't here. He didn't hear it.
True. It's new to me.
Brett was sort of alluding to it. I think that Allie and SDL were going to have bigger parts to play in the grand scheme of these two matches intertwined over the course of the night. Out of any match to incur an injury, and I'm not praying for injury, don't take it this way. This was the absolute worst spot that a full stoppage injury could have occurred on this card. Mm-hmm. If we had someone, God forbid, break their leg in Attakus versus Megan, or any other match on the card, or even Charles versus Holiday, those were in the grand scheme one-offs. But this has been building since before Fight Club. This was the absolute worst match where this could have happened. And I think had this been in a different building, in a non-commissioned building where the guardrails weren't there, I don't think that fall would have occurred in the same orientation and directions that it happened as it did.
I wish the camera didn't cut what it did, because I'm going to have to say that I agree with you. I think I can't wait to hear what he has to say. But
if that dive took place in Atlantic City when there's no guardrails, I don't think that the landing would have twisted in the same direction. I think they would have landed in laps. And I don't think, because the barricade was so tight on the ring, I think it might have been in a different building. It wouldn't have happened that way.
On this match, I literally just put very sad injury, wishing for a speedy recovery. Winner was Effie. I didn't want to really reflect on it much. Yeah. I don't even want to go back and watch the video. This is something that is just good to be gone. And if that ever gets cut out of the video for the long run, I mean, you have to show it, but you I don't know. It puts a damper on an excellent show, So I don't know. But yeah, you're right. The whole thing, brought the show to a halt. Momentum went down. It went from fun to serious, and the snap of 2 leg bones. Thank goodness this happened in a place where there was an ambulance on standby. I can't say the New York Commission didn't come in handy here in this one situation. Everybody heard what Brett had to say. Thankfully, Mance came out to keep the show going. I'm sure there was a lot of backstage scrambling, as we were hearing, but everyone did their best, and we're thankful for that. Anything else you guys want to say? I feel like we kind of took care of most of it, right? Yeah.
I entertained it as much as we possibly could.
Yeah. Longer than the match was. So, yeah, our review was longer than the match. All right.
Now, our fifth matchup of the evening was a 6-man tag, as it was the New York City OGs, Amazing Red, Grim Reaper, Homicide, going against the Real Effing Pros, McCoy, Morton, and Tony Deppen.
Extra time was needed before the start of this match. The New York State Commission needed another ambulance. From Allie's injury until the start of the next match was 27 minutes. Kerry talks for...
Actually, can we go back to Great One's comment for a second there?
Sure.
I'm sorry to keep dwelling on it. This was my exact thought when I saw from my side, because I couldn't see the landing because it was on the opposite side of the ring. The fact that they could have even entertained a fake match stopping injury for someone to come out and smack Effie on the back of the head while he's checking on Allie would have made total sense, and it would have totally been in that right level of that hazy twilight of kayfabe that GCW exists in. That could have absolutely been the script from the start.
Oh, if she was injured at like a fake injury, she would have been like, okay, we fought, but I'm injured. Don't you care for me? I'm your friend. It could have been a whole manipulation there.
I was talking to the people behind me, and I said, like, until I see a ref throw up an X or something, or if I see staff that aren't ringside rushing ringside, I completely believe that it was a work, because I couldn't see the actual landing. I only saw the dive and then people stopping and going, oh. So funny thing, Rose was there. He said, I was sitting right there looking her in the eyes. She was yelling, I'm done, I'm done. G-Max I was 7 rows back on the other side of the ring. I couldn't hear or see anything. All I saw was people milling about, and I couldn't see a TV angle or anything like that. So, yeah.
So this may be
Jim was on the same side as me. He was a couple rows up on the other side of the aisle, so...
It's funny. We're all going to know each other after a year or so. G-Mac said their legs got tangled up and both their body weights came down on top of. Damn. Rose said, if you were there like me, you knew it was real. He was right there. I watched a guy get a nose broken right in front of me. That was fun. And then I watched him set it right in front of me. Also fun. ZMZO said Manser is a pro, great audible. Plus, if Effie was set to win the story, would be around overcoming the beatdown from the first match. Rose said, I was looking at Frank all night. Okay. So let's see where I was here. 27 minutes. Kerry talks for a while to kill time. Then Homicide gets on the mic. That was rough. The whole exchange is unexpected and awkward. Finally, Reefer gets on the mic and speaks real New York to the fans. He said he's going to find the commissioner, beat his ass. Fans erupted. That's the New York attitude I feel like we really needed on the microphone. Yeah. But again, Kerry at the time, great job. I'm really surprised they put Homicide on. But again, I'll give him credit. It's not easy to get on a mic in front of thousands of people and have English as your second language. That's not something I'm able to do. So respect to that. Deppen and Red was a matchup I wanted to see, and they didn't disappoint. I need more House of Glory versus GCW. I really do think they could mutually benefit from each other.
I'm surprised the only crossover between the two we really has been Mason.
Yeah.
And I think once or twice, a couple of HOG guys have been goons for Mason back when they were still doing the masked goons bit for Charles Mason.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I don't think we've had any other HOG crossover.
Oh, I didn't know that Homicide went into the crowd when Attakus was on screen.
They were when they cut to a promo, they were doing this weird, almost Scooby-Doo hallway bullshit with running back and forth in and out of the tunnel, and it just didn't. It was just filling time, and I guess that was for the house, and then they were doing the promos on TV.
Yeah. Well, with this one though, I just felt like it was more of a fun match. Ricky Morton came out, hit the DVD on his own son.
Destroyer, not a DVD. It was a Destroyer.
Oh, that's right. I'll get these right one day. That's why I'm not on commentary. Our winner here was the New York OGs. Also, congrats to Amazing Red for the Hall of Fame pick. Well deserved. And he was killer that night too. Just the level of quality of performer there. I'm like, please bring him back. Him and Akeem would be an excellent match together.
Yeah, they just needed to get that match going just to not be dead air anymore. And I can totally understand not ringing a bell. I mean, it's kind of shocking and just out of nowhere, but just get the match going. And
on TV, they just straight went in the middle of a promo, like a video vignette, and just went straight to the. So it was all just like go. That's what I think I was seeing. Ooh, great one said Amazing Red versus Chris Bay. Poor Chris Bay. Prayers to him. I still haven't.
I thought there was good news that came out today.
I hope so. I was telling my wife, when everyone else is talking for him, that's never a good sign. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hate that.
True.
So,
yeah, true.
And also Las Vegas. I mean, he has our hearts out here in Las Vegas, especially because this is kind of his stomping grounds. And he's added a lot to the kind of slim Las Vegas scene. I mean, it's kicking, but you know.
Real fast, I had to step away real fast during that. Let me just quickly, I know you guys probably hyped up Kerry Morton. Yeah, that was incredible from him, and this shows his level of maturity and how well he understands the business. As you said, John, that was the dad in him all that time.
Yeah.
I thought that was like super, like I just remember when Manders had that moment when we had Chris Hamrick and there was a little incident and he would just see Manders kind of step up and take charge. Seeing kind of Morton do it was kind of shocking. I know Homicide was about to and took the mic and stuff, but Morton was the one that grasped on. He's like, hey, I have this time and mic and I don't have, like, I'm going to go and I'm going to make the most of it. And I just wanted to shout him out.
He's the best. He's the best Southern old school shit heel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that who you were talking about would be a good match with Hakeem? You just said it a couple of minutes ago, like during this match, somebody would be a good match against Hakeem. I didn't know if that was Kerry Morton or not.
Oh, Red probably.
Yeah, Amazing Red.
Oh yeah, Amazing Red. Yeah, yeah. Let me get out those guys. So Amazing Red killed it. Homicide was always fun to see, and oh my God, Tony Deppen. It was cool to see Tony Deppen, and he was moving in the ring and looked really good. I want to still see I want to see Tony Deppen and Gino Rivera kind of have a tag team on the West Coast.
See, I was surprised that Gino Rivera. I think Tony, like, just Tony doing Tony gatekeeper stuff would be fun against Rivera. I was surprised that they gave it to the OGs. I thought that that Tony and the assholes would have been a better pick story-wise, just to give them more heat in the situation. Because, like I said, Reefer and Homicide are not hurting for wins at this point, where they'll do whatever they need to do, and I totally could see them laying down for this one. But I mean, hey, letting Reefer and Homicide win in New York, go for it, you know.
We talked about it on the Steel Steps podcast. I thought that was the same way they were going to go for the exact same reasons. I think right now would be kind of a nice time to heat Morton and McCoy up, especially as the heel tag team with the new faces as tag teams. I thought that'd be a smart move in New York, just to get major heel heat.
Give Homicide and Reefer put them under Griffin's belt. That's a huge win for him.
Yeah, I don't mind either way you said, though. Make the New York City faithful happy seeing their OGs win. So you couldn't go wrong either way. But I said on the other podcast, I wanted to see the team assholes win as well.
We're just gonna call them Team Asshole. They're never gonna be the real fucking pros. Make that stick, everybody. Team Asshole.
Team Asshole.
And tell Griffin provides a watch here. I'm gonna call him Team Asshole.
And tell Griffin to wash that green stain from his shitty Canal Street watch off his wrist.
Oh, poor Griffin.
I love him though.
He needs a stage watch.
This was. I said it that.
I agree. That was a great match.
The best Griffin I've ever seen. I said it that night. That's the Griffin I want to see. I don't want to see him do all this stupid promo stuff like that. He's so good in the ring. He'll find his character, but right now, let his in-ring work speak, because that was an amazing match.
And Reed was saying Griffin has more experience than Kerry here. So if we were covering on the history of GCW, the original first backyard show, and if you go on YouTube, there's like a 4 or 5 hour video that was shot by TJ and friends. That's like the actual what happened before, what happened during, and what happened after.
Mm-hmm.
And in the background, there's Young, Dumb, and Broke, and you can see a very young Griffin McCoy back there talking with everyone. And I'm going, damn, he has been around a while.
I think it's that
I still.
Like go ahead, Brent.
No, I was just gonna say I still like all the shit I talk about is like kind of in character. Like I just don't like his character, the top guy shit. But I really think he has a future.
His entire gimmick is I'm wearing a fake Rolex, and that just doesn't stick the same way as like I am the rich jerk ass bully son of a living legend of a professional wrestler. That just doesn't hit the same way as I wear a watch.
There's got to be like another wrestler that's named McCoy, like Dixie Carter and EC3. Like a legend could come out and give him those sort of like credentials. I'm your third uncle. Maybe Waterboy style.
It's that just having that
Waterboy. It's time. It's time.
Sorry.
Yeah, that'll get us pulled off the air. That was my Waterboy impression.
He doesn't have a watch, does he? Top McCoy doesn't have a watch.
No, dude needs a Casio or like one of those ones with a calculator in it. Wouldn't it be so cool if he like punched in 1 + 1 and all that shit?
Calculator.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. If he could find like a funny number joke, but it's getting late and I could have had a better joke there. Okay. That's all I had to say about match 5. You guys have anything on that one left in the tank?
No, I got my McCoy statement.
No, I think that it was good. Amazing Red did good Amazing Red things. Tony did good Tony things. That's
and what was what did they break the law for on that one? What did you say that was their offense?
I don't think we went into that one.
The crime for that one was disrespecting your elders. Count 3 was disrespecting your elders.
Oh, that's good. All right, next match was for the GCW Tag Team Championships as Violence is Forever defends it against the Garbage Daddies.
Count 4, conspiracy. I really didn't have a good joke for this one. I'm sorry.
Side note, Reed Harris Cooper, just wanted to let you know one of my friends from back in like the Ohio, West Virginia area is married to a Hatfield. Anyway, we'll go back. I don't think anybody else knows exactly what that is, but the McCoys and the Hatfields are like that famous feud. Wild. New champs chant was a sure sign from the crowd that we're ready to see new kings of the tag team mountain. Daddy struggled heavily in this match. Violence is Forever was picking them apart individually. Isolating Radrick made for a good few minutes of Cole standing his ground. The exact same thing happened to Price minutes later. I love the Cole Radrick air raid crash to break up a potential pin on Alec. I'll just put it here, winners and new champions, the Garbage Daddies. How did you guys feel in this 14.5-minute match?
The fact that Cole was wearing Dale Earnhardt Wrangler blue and yellow told you all you needed to know. It was Flair in blue. You know he was going over. It was just like
you said Flair in blue.
Because Flair in red means he's dying that day, but Flair in blue that was gonna be a good day. So,
what'd you think, B? Oh, sorry, I cut you off, man. This is a rough night for us right now.
He got bit again.
No, you didn't. What are you talking about? I was unmuted. He cut me off. He just admitted it. I was not muted.
Totally not muted.
I loved it. I wanted Frank. I want to get like a little bit more on the reaction here as soon as I'm done. Giving my little piece, but I wanted to see new champs. The crowd lived up to the hype. They gave them the streamers, gave them the moment. The new champs was very loud.
Again, thank you to Paula for delivering an entire goddamn case of streamers.
Nice.
Where
awesome.
she had so many streamers, she just pawned the entire half box onto me, and I was giving out streamers to everybody at that point. Also, can I speak to the crowd? Get your shit together and start throwing streamers at the right time. Come on. Do it when Emil says their name, not whenever they fucking walk to the ring.
Yeah,
if Emil's still here, he'll appreciate that. When Emil says their name.
I loved it. Like it was one of those like, hey, this is going to be the feel good moment of the night. No matter what else is going to happen, we're going to get the new tag champs paid off. I think we were talking about a lot of cool ways we like to see it, but I think as Great One said it here, the real surprise was they didn't have to burn Cole's brass ring.
I swear to God, I thought they were going to get rolled up like a cheap roll up schoolboy win and then roll right around and burn the ring. But that's later in the night.
Funny thing, I called it hive mind. I felt like a lot of the people that we talked to were expecting that same fucked finish into the cash in on that, on that gold ring.
I will say though, Violence, real fast, before I get to that when I saw it. Okay. Violence is Forever looked amazing. I loved it. That match felt like a old Ring of Honor tag team title match with big stakes involved and big tag teams involved with it. Like Violence is Forever, I think, looked very intimidating. Looked like you're gonna kill us for this match. Like that was one of the best they've looked. Just appearance and like their aura of what they gave out going into this match. And I just wanted to shout them out too, because that was awesome. And what an amazing title run. I was happy to see them in GCW, happy to see them get the belts. I want to see what they do after this to get back at the belts. I'm glad they get the immediate tag team title match.
It was just that they were in such a holding pattern waiting for Cole to come back from injury that I think a lot of people soured on VIF as champions, because we all sort of saw the writing on the wall when they were just doing these like local challenger tag matches at a certain point.
And the Zilla too, probably at the beginning of the year, is probably the first time they were supposed to lose it. So that throw the wrench and everything, but they put in, as you said, amazing work and did a good job holding the titles for that long. And I want to see what they do on the comeback for sure.
I think Lawrence had a question.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Here, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so Lawrence said, is GCW coming to Australia? Love the show. I watched on Triller TV. Okay, Lawrence, I'll tell you real quick. First of all, sounds like a newer fan. Welcome to the family. It's a good quality family we have in here. Not a lot of WWE, AEW, like general craziness that you'll see sometimes in the average mainstream fan. I can tell you this much. Game Changer Wrestling was in Australia, August of 2023. They hit Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. There's no announcement right now that they're going to be coming back in the immediate, but I can also tell you that generally they only book 2-3 months ahead at the most. I really wish we had an answer for that in the immediate when we had Brett on. However, if you come back here next time and just say, hey, did you ask my question of Brett? I'll get that answered for you. And then just, again, remind me on the next show. You don't have to pay anything. Just say, hey, I was Lawrence. I asked about Australia. I'll try to get you a better answer on that. But I do know as of right now, GCW is going to London. Then they're going to be in Germany. So there are a lot of intentions to run around the world right now. And I don't see why Australia would be off the table at this point.
There are, if you are interested in the deathmatch and the hardcore scene, there are a couple feds in Australia. Deathmatch Down Under would be the one company I would look out for.
DMDU
down south. Yep. Joel Bateman. There are a couple other just regular wrestling feds that run that indie style that I don't want to say approximates, but runs in that same lane that GCW runs in Australia. What am I thinking of? PWA, I think there's a couple other. There's a couple.
PCW. Reed said. Reed also. Yeah. DMDU. Yeah. Lawrence said MXW. He's a huge fan of them also. Very interesting. I don't know if I've heard of MXW. That's going to be one worth checking out. From Horsham, they have Brian Kendrick come next month. Okay, so they're bringing in people from out. Yeah. See, he said PWU or PCU, so you may have been right from the beginning there, Frank. Unknown. This is awesome. Yeah. So another person said, yeah, Australia just went through the ringer, and it may be a while before that scene is completely back up again. They were saying COVID was really rough down there, and he said the DMDU just got back up and running. So, but yeah, if you like the deathmatch style, I can definitely say personally, DMDU is one of the ones that I've watched quite a few times. I think it's on IWTV, and I really enjoyed it.
Like I said, we're stuck in this. We're stuck in this New Jersey East Coast bubble. So there's so much product out there. I can barely keep track of what's here on the East Coast. So,
did we cover all the garbage daddies things we wanted to?
Congrats, Cole. Congrats, Alex.
Yes.
We might be a little biased on this show about Cole and Alex.
Well, yes, for sure. Definitely.
Well, I'll even it out a little bit. I'll just say congratulations to Violence is Forever. I feel like they were solid title holders. They should be commended for setting the record for the number of title defenses at 32 in over 442 days. So congratulations to them. They set a new standard. B, you were big fans, and then you kind of turned off in the later part because you felt like they've kind of reached the end of this story. And for me, I wasn't the biggest fan, and I became a fan over time. We've done this before. So, yeah. Was there anything else you guys wanted to mention? You said no?
No, I don't think so.
All right, man. Rock and roll.
I think that week that kind of speaks for itself too. And I forgive us for trying to scoot along a little bit. We are running a little bit long tonight already. So
yeah,
we'll speed it up. We're good.
Next match is a steel cage match. Is Charles Mason versus Richard Holiday.
Count 5, breaking and entering a steel cage.
Oh, I love that one. I really like this cage concept here. I know some fans were split. Charles was behind bars, then he broke out. Richard was always running from him. Now they're locked in together. The Hannibal Lecter callback in the storyline was awesome, all the way down to the slow beating of the cop that's well known from that movie. Mason and Attakus are great examples of creative wrestlers, so I just wanted to add there. I was wondering if Mason should become like incarnations of various killers throughout time. It'd be kind of interesting to see him come out as maybe some kind of different attitude or what, and
move on from American Psycho into all these other killer movies.
Why not? What else are you doing? I would have loved a bloody mess of a fight here. That just wasn't going to happen. Holiday gave me vibes of Undertaker, HBK, or even the White Spy from Spy versus Spy.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that. I liked what he did, though. I saw what he was shooting for there. Tell me the lighting guy wasn't blinking the lights with the "fuck you, Mason" chants. If you go back and look, you can see he's literally flipping the lights with the "fuck you."
I totally believe it.
Charles Mason, huge elbow off the top of the cage, must be mentioned. Holiday ran away a lot, but when he was engaged, it was a good wrestling match. Perro came in, he grabs weapons, props the door in the corner. Then Slade comes out, spears Perro, almost hits Perch with the door. Our winner was Charles Mason at 12 minutes. For me, I felt like Mason got his revenge, and I also felt like he was definitely the focus in this match.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I have some thoughts on this. B, if you want to go first, I'll finish up after you. I think
I just got it kind of short and sweet notes. It was a good match, a good payoff to the story. I was happy to see Slade come back. Whoever thought Slade and Charles Mason would be faces at this point ever in GCW? I thought that was kind of a funny moment. Yeah, it's definitely weird seeing Mason and Slade being cheered for sure.
It's weird because this started out as such a heel versus heel. We just want to see these two assholes kill each other kind of story, and then it flips where Mason's becoming this like stone cold anti-face.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like he's purely the face because, murder versus snitching, and we're all with the murderer.
Deathmatch.
And the chat that we were trying to get started in the crowd was "kill the snitch."
Yes.
It's the thing I notice about these Mason angles is that they exist, if to borrow a phrase from AEW, they exist in the Codyverse. They exist in this self-contained bubble that doesn't cross over with any other matches or existing angles. It's just that you have Richard, Holiday, Perro, now Slade again, and Charles Mason. They're doing their own thing, and it's just 10 minutes, and then they go back, and then it comes back to all these other intertwining storylines. I could not give, before the cage match, I personally enjoy Charles Mason as a technical performer. The characterization of Charles Mason was not the strong suit for me in the beginning. It's grown on me recently, where we enjoy screaming "fuck you" at Charles Mason and watching him like whatever he does. That rolling fireman's carry out of the corner is so fucking good.
Yep,
I love that move, but like his angle was just whatever. And Mason's just so hard to care. I'm not Mason. Oh, sorry. Holiday's just so hard to care about. Like,
you're saying the personality might be a little like flat or gray, kind of like.
I think we just have too many of his kind of characters, like in GCW. That's what my kind of thing was with him. Like he's number five in line of doing the same shit that 4 other people are kind of doing. Like I'm not blaming him; he's doing a pretty good job with it. But I mean, to get Mason over as a super face, that's good work on. That's good work on Holiday.
To get heel versus heel, and you got Mason over as a face. It like I can't care about him.
He was the more intriguing between the two, given the situation. Also, he was the one that was producing more vignettes and whatnot.
Yeah.
Also, do you think that maybe putting Holiday on the mic more would change your feelings on this one, or do you feel like just this character right now, so you're feeling like it's just not connecting?
Yeah. It's not connecting, and his entire mic time was I'm the good guy. You know, I got this guy locked up. I'm like, you're saying that you're trying to put yourself over as the face when your storyline is I snitched on this guy to the GCW crowd.
Yeah,
and it's
our crowd don't like snitches. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm trying to be as positive as possible, and every time I sigh, just imagine me just going fuck.
That's okay. It happens.
Yeah, I just enjoyed Mason flying off the top. That was a cool visual for him, and it was a good match.
It was great. Technically, Charles Mason is great.
I've always kind of said I enjoy kind of like his actual wrestling over at House of Glory because he actually does more wrestling over there, where here he kind of does more of the character work in the ring.
Yeah.
And now we're starting to see a little bit of those moves kind of cross over here and there, but I want to see kind of more of Mason of what he can do and expand his moveset, maybe even as a baby face, and see how he kind of grows.
Anything else on that one?
No.
Nah, me neither.
I mean, it was a cage match where they had people running in, and that kind of defeated the purpose of it being a cage match.
Yeah, that too. That was like a little thing too. I was kind of hoping. There we go. Can you hear me at least?
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Yeah.
I got the internet symbol, so my shit start crashing again. Yeah. I thought it was a good one though overall. Next match was Sidney Akeem versus El Hijo del Vikingo.
Possession of flippy shit with intent to distribute.
And at 10.5 minutes, that's almost what they did. Vikingo was not 100% here. It was obvious he was having issues, and I felt like the match suffered some because of it. Not his fault. He had I believe it was a knee injury about 3 weeks before that at was it Progress 75? Maybe. I don't know. But I just don't feel like we got the true Vikingo experience because of that. However, the man showed up to do his job.
Yeah.
I will say, though, because we're sometimes sympathetic people, I spent the whole time worrying about his knee. I was like, okay, the tope where he landed on his knees outside and then he had to sit there and touch the knee for a while. I'm like, oh, fuck. So that emotional aspect kind of took me out of the match a little. I would request this to be ran back when both men are 100%.
I could definitely see this running back as maybe as the intermission at TOS or even a homecoming match.
I would love a match at Joey Janela's spring break in sunny Las Vegas, Nevada, honestly.
That would be
You
nice,
never know.
yes.
Just saying. But yeah, winner was Sidney Akeem, right? Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I had high expectations, but knowing Vikingo, how hurt he was, I was wondering just how much we would get out of him. I think what we did get out of him was kind of special to see. And as you were saying, shows what kind of he's willing to go out there and risk it just for the fans, even though he didn't have to come back at less than 100%. I agree. I want to see them go back at it when they're both 100%. I really like great ones here. Sidney Akeem with Culture Inc. and match some trios would be very fun. I just want to see Culture Inc. some more in GCW in general. But yeah.
I think that That might be leading up to some other show, so I don't want to speculate too much. So,
anything else on that one?
No, just a little bit. We didn't get. I kind of agree with you too, Reed. That felt like the ending was kind of rushed. They went from like one cool move to a little break and right into the ending. It did feel a little odd and different, but and I was shocked to actually see Vikingo take the L. Like that was kind of the more shocking thing for this match. For me.
And City still has the streak, so we got to see what this escalates into next. If Vikingo didn't break the streak, who is?
That's what we said too.
Just for continuity purposes, I felt Akeem was going to win this just because, Vikingo comes in for a match and then crashes Sydney Akeem's multiple month buildup of,
Well, if anybody was going to do it, it would have been Vikingo.
The one that's above him, yep. Like one that's a little different out of his element that we were kind of talking about, John, on the steel steps. Like, I didn't quite learn enough to Vikingo, and like that makes him kind of go back to the lab and restart over again. All right, next match is the 6-person tag matches. Los Desperados and Jack Cartwheel go against Little Guido, Super Crazy, and Tajiri.
Operating Green Mist without a license.
That's the worst. I got picked up by that when I was like 19. Good showmanship by everyone in here. Could any other group make Little Guido, Super Crazy, and Tajiri look as good as they did? They turned back the clock for those guys. I just want to say that up front. The Super Crazy dive, reenacting from 2005's, One Night Only show. Stand. Oh yeah, One Night Stand. I swear I watched that show 3 days ago. I liked Cartwheel fighting with the mask on. I'm a sucker for shit like that. Gringo and Tajiri's eyes locked and they never stopped. And if there's more to that, I would have loved to have seen it, but I liked how they played that up. Like, you know what? It may be 3-on-3, but me and you, motherfucker, we got something to do. I really liked that.
Even if this match was only, old guys playing the hits for 10 minutes and it was just them hitting their 2 spots and moving on, I would have been happy with this match just because of the age difference. But the fact that they went so much more than that this might have been, 1 or 2 on the night for me.
I also wrote that Arez and Crazy would have been insane if they met each other in their peaks. And looking at what they had here, I would watch them in a singles match today if there was that match on. The Lucha chants were undeniable. Tajiri hitting the real tarantula, one of my favorite OG moves. The Super Crazy balcony dive. Something else funny, Arez and Gringo's gear was dropping glitter. All the wrestlers were covered in glitter like it was a middle school house party.
I was noticing that for the rest of the night. It was glitter in the ring. I was like, what broke in the ring that everybody was covered in glitter?
Yeah, man, they looked like they just got off the stripper train. It was intense, like all of them. Could you imagine they had to go home to their wives or girlfriends and explain why they're covered in glitter? But I like the green mist, red mist. I really thought that was cool. Arez looked great with a mouthful of red, looked like blood. And then he has those crazy eyes, and it looks so damn good. I feel like Arez is going to be one of those ones we're not going to fully miss him until he's gone, and then we're going to be like, shit, we need to go back and watch all the unique stuff that he did and how much he's brought Lucha into the GCW company has been.
Every time Arez does the hover kicks, I'm amazed.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I love the hover. Yeah. The coming up from the ground kind of thing too is always cool. Yeah, that bicycle kick, I wonder if that, where he's rising up and then he kicks back. I almost swear that was a fuck up and he turned it into something, but I'm not.
Oh, no, I'm talking about where he does like the 6 or 7 kicks on one hop.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking of I always tried to count those, but you can never get the real count.
Usually it's 6. Usually it's 7. One of those two.
I'm not going to lie. Arez was announced against Drew Parker in San Diego, and I need to see round 2 of that. Like, that one was a one match alone that almost might make me go to the San Diego show instead of LA. You guys hear me? Am I muted?
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I was waiting for the next
one. You're good. Next match, sorry. Next match is the Bloodsport match as Josh Barnett goes against Tom Pestock.
Call me jaded. Street fighting. I couldn't think of anything funny for this one either.
You know what, Frank? I want you to go first because I heard the crowd was rough and then supportive and back and forth. What was your take on this?
This is me being jaded with everybody else from Atlantic City. It's Bloodsport just doesn't do much for us. It's if we want to watch UFC, we'll go watch UFC. There's enough content on the internet that this doesn't have to exist. I understand the concept in theory where it's like, oh, we're having professional wrestlers do UFC as a UFC style match, but it just doesn't hit the same. And especially with Barnett going over every time, it's just. I had more than one person tell me that this was their piss break match.
I get it. Interesting.
And
for me, I just want them to spar harder. They're getting paid. Like if you watch guys roll at the average gym, they're going harder than Barnett did. I was on Steel Steps, B and I were talking, and I said, I feel like as new as Bloodsport is, that some of the strength in Bloodsport's going to be wrapped in how good Josh Barnett does. But now I was listening to the crowd over there in the Hammerstein. And I'm like, you know what? Tom should have went over here. And I think that would have done wonders for Bloodsport, would be these
like
kind
he's
of
11-1-1 in Bloodsport now. Like, yes, if you're going to have the first time Josh Barnett do this weird UFC style pro wrestling show, of course you're going to put him over the first one or two times.
Exactly.
But now he's just, it like somebody in chat says, now it's just like, that don't work for me, brother. Like, and it's, I'd rather see Tom Pestock see what he comes up with as a non-Baron Corbin persona in a traditional professional wrestling match.
I want to see Tom Pestock too as his own version of himself and what he wants to be presented as. I will second that. As a Bloodsport fan, it can't go on shows no more. I don't think it belongs in the middle of a show. You're throwing that match in there. There's no story. There's no reason to care about it. There's no really striking. I think for me, the striking is what's kind of ruining it. And as you were saying, sparring a little bit harder. Like you could get tagged and still spar and be okay. Like as you said, you're making money. And if you're trying to make this a blood sport, and I haven't seen any blood in the last few matches, I'm a fan of Bloodsport. I was thoroughly disappointed in this one. There was no striking. And as you guys are saying, I didn't really ever care until just Josh Barnett getting the wins, but to thinking it through, like there's just no stories or anything to get care and invested in. And as like someone was saying, if you beat Barnett, cool, then what? There is nothing because no one cares. Like he's like, I don't know. At this point, I would have used Bloodsport for a different name. Throw in that David guy we saw last time for the first time. Have him make an impact at Hammerstein in a Bloodsport match. Because I just feel like as Barnett's kind of using his own toy for his own gain right now, instead of building up new names with his Bloodsport, in my opinion.
The other thing is that, let's just say the average fan at GCW is 30. Josh is on almost an undefeated streak at 47 years old. Like there's not a guy at 25 or 35 that couldn't, you know what I mean? Like there isn't one guy that could take down an almost 50-year-old man. He's 2.5 years away from getting an AARP card. It's probably fair to, well, it looks like anything else. If you want to inject something into a company, you inject youth. Why don't we get some young stars that want to come in? I mean, fuck, if it's even the NXT guys, let's just get this rolling.
Like, if you want to actually see a good Bloodsport match, one of the only Bloodsport matches I really remember getting super involved with was Ninja Mac versus Yo-Yo in Dallas.
Because of the ending. And what was the ending? A strike ending. Like, I put out a Twitter poll. I don't think anybody responded.
Knee out of nowhere, and he just ragdolled.
So what are your two favorite Bloodsport matches?
That's the one.
John?
Beyond that, they've all existed. Yeah.
Well, he's getting ready.
Name one.
Go ahead.
You're gonna hate.
You can't name one.
I can't name one.
Mine's Bailey versus Akira. I mean, I was originally looking forward to Bailey and Kota Ibushi. I think that is the ultimate best Bloodsport match for me. But I think as a fan watching it, the best thing I saw was Akira and Bailey, and that was all striking and that looked legit. And I just think that's what's missing. And I agree. I don't think it belongs on a GCW card no more. Run it 4 times a year, once every 3 months, build some stories on it. And I think you could do some cool things there, but I don't think it belongs in the middle of a yeah, thank you. Yeah, Yo-Yo. I don't think it belongs in the middle of a GCW card anymore.
It's in its infancy. I'll go this. It's in its infancy. I didn't want to go back to, but because of that, that means that it needs to find its footing. It has not found its footing, and it hasn't connected entirely yet. I don't know if it's storylines or it's just going to have to be familiar faces.
We can barely call it infancy at this point. It's been around since what?
Oh yeah.
I want to say right. Spring Break 3. We're going on 7-ish years of Bloodsport because we have to go all the way back to Matt Riddle's Bloodsport, not Josh Barnett's Bloodsport.
And you're throwing like a cold match that has no build at all, and it's a different, not even wrestling match, Bloodsport match in the middle of a GCW card. And like I don't think without any feuds or stories or a reason for fans to care, I would not do this anymore in the middle of a GCW show. Build its own little thing for right now.
The other downfall is, since everybody in the crowd is quieter, when someone says an asshole remark, you hear it really well and it bounces around.
Yeah. And the boos were loud, that's for sure.
I do want to see him succeed, though. It looks like a bridge to the WWE. So, I mean, fingers crossed it finds its footing. I don't feel it has yet with the fans. Actually, the one match I can mention that I did like was Violence is Forever. I liked Ku versus Guarini. I felt like they told a hell of a story, and I was actually entertained. They need a little drama with their Bloodsport, and they need a little blood with their Bloodsport.
Yep. All right.
Next. This is one of the matches I think we'll come back to when we're talking about where can this show be cleaned up.
Yeah, Bloodsport for sure. Yeah. All right. Next match is Megan Bane versus Attakus Kogar.
Stalking and harassment.
Ooh. That's a lovely duo. The Attakus videos were great. At absolute minimum, he brings creativity and art to GCW. I feel both are needed there. We could use another 5 creative people like him, and we would have enough storylines to feed the entire locker room. If you want to be serious about getting into, the next levels, storylines are where they're at. And that's what really I felt like helped push through this Hammerstein show, was the fact they said, look, we need something engaging. We can't just go this person versus this person, because you can see that in Houston. So you need to have that storyline there. Attakus' mask is absolutely awesome looking. He looked a little spooky when he was just standing there. I wish.
Wonderful. I was right there at the foot of the stairs, and holy shit, it was a great visual.
Like weird, kind of spooky.
Absolutely.
I really do wish this story had more time to breathe. It was just too good. Storylines in independent wrestling can be rare, and I feel like he delivers them in hand.
I don't think that was the blow off to this story, though.
I hope Megan's around long enough that this continues. I really am surprised that somehow the jealous boyfriend Janela isn't in the middle of this somewhere.
Well, next, what I see, I think Indianapolis, it's going to be Otis and Attakus versus Joey and Megan.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're going to see a continuation of this at least, where if Megan does go to TV, at least they can sort of shift the storyline focus over to Joey. And I think that would make sense, because at that point, you could also inject Atticus's exit into this storyline, because we're talking.
I'm still waiting on Brett Lauderdale too.
Atticus has been gone since last Hammerstein. He was at Hammerstein. He was just pissed off about how his Hammerstein moment played out, where he just basically ate shit from ECW guys and then rolled out of the ring. And then he kind of blew off the show in February in Atlantic City that next month. And he's been gone since then. And he just pops back up right in time for Hammerstein 2. And now he's, spitting distance from Joey Janela again. That needs to be expanded upon. Because when Attakus no-showed, or we're going to say no-showed, the February show, what happened? Joey was talking into a camera saying, get the fuck out, don't come back again type shit. So.
What are you thinking, B?
I got to go back and watch that to find out that little information. That's what I'm thinking. I agree right here with Great One. For Attakus to turn this match into one of the most talked about and anticipated matchups in 2 weeks, with him doing literally all the work, Megan Bane not saying a word other than I'm talking about like promo wise and stuff. I think that's why I'm really enjoying Mason's run with Attakus, is what they've been doing online to further these stories in between shows and get fans invested.
Megan doesn't cut promos. That's just, she doesn't do that. So I can understand her not lifting a finger on her side, but it is.
I'm not blaming her, but I'm just saying Attakus did all the work regardless of whatever it was.
95% of that storyline was basically driven by him. All she basically did was just be in the ring and go, what? Come get me. Come at me, bro. And he's the one out there, you know, he's got all those video packages and he has to write a script. He has to get people together to do all that shit. So yeah, 95% driven by him. Any creativity and all that stuff that happened in that match, I'd have to say the end result was because he baked 95% of that cake. And quickly, given the fact that he should have been maybe in more of a deathmatch storyline. So I'd have to say that he took something that a lot of fans didn't want to see and turned it into something a lot better than most people expected.
Yeah. And I'm going to have to say what Brett was saying kind of earlier, how the Effie or Allie's injury kind of affected stuff. I wonder how much it affected this match and the main event later on too, with everything kind of going on. As he said, stories were being told and everything. Attakus is like, for me, and a hotter GCW wrestler right now that fans want to see, are happy to see back, is creating the most buzz and talk about. Like, it's Attakus for me. And like when Brett was kind of saying this stuff with Attakus, I get it, I understand it, and it makes total sense too. And this is where, Frank, I'm gonna switch my opinion as earlier. I would have put the belt on Attakus coming back this time, like unlike Dr. Redacted, because I think he has the history and the fans are into it more than.
I can see why they didn't put the belt back on, because he left on such bad terms. I think that, not to the DME segment of the audience, but to the, we're going to call it the regulars who have been there who have been for GCW through thick and thin, that would leave a bad taste in their mouths. And I can see why they wouldn't strap a belt to him right away.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I just think Attakus, the one thing I said when he first returned, I said on that podcast, I hope he comes back. And I'm not worried about his promos, his videos and everything. He's been killing it there. And actually, he's been doing even better than I anticipated with that. His in-ring was where I was most concerned about. And I think in-ring, he has shown a new, like, heat on him. Like, he has it in him. He is out here to prove a point. His promos that he's been cutting, even in person, have been really, really good for independent wrestling. And I think of getting the fans invested. And I'm just so happy to see him back and have this match and make what he did out of it in 2 weeks. I just wanted to commend it to like how Great One did, because I was questionable when it first was announced. And by going into the show, this was probably my second most looked forward to match outside of the Cardona.
Yeah.
Well, Attakus pulls out his third set of skewers, and I wish there was a match where he just kept pulling them out of his pockets to a point where everybody's going, where in the hell are these things coming from? Maybe one day I'll get that wish. Attakus Kogar runs in to interfere. For me, I feel like the constant interference is somewhat predictable. And for me, I just want a good old-fashioned Attakus Kogar match.
If you need a heater, there's worse heaters than Otis.
True.
And I'm interested to see what he's able to do in GCW once he gets kind of a little time to prove himself as well. Like, that's a cool little piece that's thrown into. Yeah, and he's looked really good and motivated. And as you said, the heater, like that big brother, like that video of like him kind of, I took care of it, like for you, was so like moving, and like I got the big brother vibes, and I want to see what he's able to do as a character in GCW as well.
Well, as the bow on the present here, Sawyer Rex shows up out of retirement because she had a little unfinished business with Attakus Kogar. She sprays Otis in the face. Otis puts himself through a table, and
greatest that is almost bump of the night,
bro. He went belly first, so that means when the table fucking broke, he was like in a U.
Oh my. I got a text from a person who had nothing but bad things to say about this show. And the only thing he said was, "Holy hell, that is the funniest bump I've ever seen."
That was definitely creative, but he got the point across and he still broke that table. Is there anything else in this one?
Cool to see Sawyer wreck back to kind of
Sawyer back and come up, and I think was a great spot.
Yep, I thought that was well made, and it made all the perfect sense, and I enjoyed it. All right, next match is Joey Janela versus Masato Tanaka.
International wire fraud.
Dude, that was a good one. I like that one a lot. I
couldn't think of anything else international. Wire fraud was the first one that came to me.
So in this match, I loved Joey's Bruiser Brody jacket. I am a Bruiser Brody fan. Very nice. Setting up tables took forever. I recommend giving the ring crew schematics on where you want everything, then let them set it up for you. It was 1 minute and 54 seconds. Almost 2 minutes of the 12.5 minutes match was weapon setup. Asking for someone to set up a door bridge would be awesome, and it would pop the crowd in anticipation of the spot. What I mean is, if two people are wrestling and Dr. Redacted points to a ring crew and goes, "Get me a fucking door." Like, that should be like, people are going to start getting excited because here comes the what. So what's cool is they're calling them out. "Get me this. I need a table over here. I need this." If you could get that set up ahead of time, I feel like things would go a lot more smooth. You may lose the little rest spot that somebody may get while the other person is building something. But again, it was almost 2 minutes in a 12.5 minute match, which means we got a little over 10 minutes of a wrestling match because the other 2 minutes were just grabbing things from under the ring. And it sounds kind of nerdy, but I did this one time to just make that example that 1/6 of this match went to building things. The unbreakable table bites Joey again. Which listener was it that said it? They are right. That was the only brown table broken that night, was a self-inflicted wound.
I think he was talking about Otis's table was the only one.
Yeah, that was the only one that actually broke that whole night. When both are trading punches was when I realized the crowd was getting fatigued.
I can say that from this point forward, if everything from this point forward had happened an hour earlier, the crowd would have been peppier, the crowd would have been fuller, and the crowd would have been more invested. Specifically, I guess I'm going to get into my end of the night rant here, because I guess this is the best spot to do it. At this point, this was when you saw a lot of people starting to check their watches because of how late this match was running. People were starting to realize, oh shit, I'm going to miss the last train out of New York. And I was one of those people.
I wanted to ask about that. Can you expand upon that? Because I saw someone tweet that out earlier. I'm like, wow, that's like a kind of a big thing to kind of not.
Okay, so I'm from New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey, and the last train out of Penn Station that was going in the direction that I needed to go was 1 a.m. on the dot. So I had a hard stop of like 12:30. I needed to beat feet and get the fuck out of the building and run 2 blocks over to Penn Station underneath MSG. Just get on a train, get home. You had that half of the crowd saying like the last train that I can catch where I otherwise I have to get an Uber is 12:45, 1 o'clock. You also had a lot of people and a lot of the loud invested marks were also leaving at around that time because there was another secret no ring show that was happening, and GCW was running so far over that people were leaving to get to that show. And those were the heaviest, loudest people were leaving. So you had an outsized amount of vocal energy leaving because those heavily invested people were leaving to go to this other late night show. So you had both of those collecting into this perfect storm of people leaving because their rides were here and people leaving because they had other commitments, that it just made the end of this show less exciting than it could have been. Yes, it was Casanova's New Fear City, but this is a GCW show, so I'm trying to keep it on topic here. So,
well, Joey ended up winning on this one. He puts over Tanaka, and that gets us into our next little segment here. Just for time purposes, Sabu's retirement match was announced against Joey Janela. I really hope it goes better than this match. There were quite a few miscues here and there with the Janela Tanaka match. It just is what it is. Sometimes that's how it happens. That's a live performance. Anything else on this one you guys can think of?
I thought it was your standard.
Cool. Oh, no, go ahead, Frank. It was your standard Joey Janela wrestles a legend match. I mean,
yeah,
that's all it needs to do. It was Joey versus Name. That's spectacle over match at that point. I'm not expecting, not expecting magic.
I was expecting maybe a little bit more craziness and everything, but after kind of seeing everything that happened beforehand, I wondered how much the commission changed anything or any of that stuff. So I thought it was still pretty good. I just think I know Joey probably wanted a little bit more, as his tweet kind of said, maybe he wanted to do a little bit more that the commission maybe wouldn't allow. But him versus Sabu is going to be interesting, I guess. I don't know how I feel about that match. I'm still a little sour when Sabu no-showed. Exactly.
If it happens.
That's kind of where I'm going there. Like, I'm still kind of sour on Sabu no-showing and taking the money and all that stuff. I guess I don't know why it's not my money, but I guess like it feels like we're rewarding him for no-showing us once, and I just think there could be a better match out there that with somebody that's a little bit more active and can do a little bit more. I don't know. Who knows what Sabu can do? Maybe he'll come and shut me up. I hope he does. I love being proved wrong on here. Like I was wrong. That match ruled. So for me, I'm not excited for it, but who knows what we will see in April.
I tweeted to someone else who had that same sentiment. I didn't tweet. I texted someone else that said, like, if this match didn't go great, how is Sabu versus Joey going to go great? To what I say is, it's a spring break match. Everybody's going to be hammered as shit. It doesn't have to be good. It just has to be a spectacle.
That's fine. Now, I don't want to see a 5-star match. I want to see just chaos, crazy.
You want to see a car crash.
I want to see a spectacle. Yeah, what you said. So if I see a spectacle in a car crash, I'll be fine with that. I'm not expecting no 5-star classic from this shit. I wasn't even expecting it from this match. I wanted to see a car crash in this match. And
it's it's Joey's sub gimmick of Joey wrestles all his childhood heroes.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
And this is why I said he didn't need the belt, because he could still do these kind of matches without the belt. If he was the champion, these are the kind of matches that probably would be for the belt. Having Sabu challenge it, that's right up their alley. So
yeah,
that just goes back to my statement a long time ago. Yeah, Frank, you did good, and yeah, that was good. All right, next match up, Matt Cardona versus Blake.
A whole slew of shit. Yeah. The whole segment here was.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I'm so sorry.
Count 13. Misrepresenting goods for sale.
Very nice. This whole segment was 14-ish minutes. Thank you for helping me out on that one, Frank. But the real wrestling was 5.5 minutes. I kind of put 3 matches into one here. It was cool seeing the band that plays Matt's entrance music. Outside of that, there was no huge entrance for such a big show. However, if we're following everything that Matt was saying as true, he may have had a hard time planning without an opponent. So
yeah,
we also heard tonight that there was a different planned opponent for Cardona. So we'll see what happens there. Now that's actually Reed Harris Cooper's right on. If Sabu no shows RVD, that's a great choice.
Yeah. I think that would sell more though if you promote that match instead of Sabu, unfortunately. But you also
agree
Sabu's retirement. I don't know. That's where I like that idea though.
I feel a little worrisome because if he can't show up to talk, I don't know if he wants to show up to wrestle. And I think that he had an issue with Hall of Faming here instead of Hall of Faming at a bigger company. I'm kind of surprised he's, so. Okay, you know what? I'll just say that here too. I'd love to see Sabu prove everyone wrong because I'm a huge fan. I've been watching him since I'm a teenager. If he comes out and he's just full of piss and vinegar and hits the ground running, my God, would it be nice to see one of my childhood favorites just come out there and give me the old feelings again.
Yeah. And I liked being proven wrong in situations like that. So please let me come back here and say, my bad, I was wrong. Like I'll happily do that one.
100%.
Yeah, go back to Cardona's thing.
Yeah, who the fuck is Tommy Invincible? That's what I wrote there. I felt like at a high level show, it was a little bit of a waste of time. Any other show, I feel it'd be perfect, just not tonight. The fans were booing. They didn't really know who he was. Some people thought that he was like Sean Spears, like just let himself go or something was going on there. Microman's entrance was badass. He could have been the only fake challenger and we would have been fine, especially when we're crawling into the late night hours.
Count 14, petty larceny.
I forgot you had one for each. And then we had the Jimmy Lloyd turn. This was
identity theft.
And identity theft. This was something that we were talking about a bunch on our show. Also, when you and I were on Steel Steps, we were talking about that also. I would have done it with him in Cardona's deathmatch whites, and I would have made it a deathmatch. And I think a good way to go out if Cardona was to leave would be for Jimmy Lloyd to beat him out of the company.
I think this was the way to tie up the deathmatch royalty loose ends, and I think Cardona is on his way out. Let's just say that I don't think that they were ready to pull the trigger on this story so early.
Correct.
Little birdies have told me many things about what was the plan up until the night before this show. So I'm just gonna say, fill in the blanks with your own imagination and looking through certain company owners' tweet history for the past week or so and figure out your own conclusions about who probably was going to be the opponent there.
I was just gonna say that I like that Jimmy took all his aggression out on that. I am not your broski was like the funniest fucking statement he made.
Yeah.
I wish it could have been a little bit more of a build, but I agree. Even if there wasn't a build, I would have had more time of cut that Microman and Tommy Invincible bullshit out.
You didn't need that. Even if you gave Jimmy and Matt 5 or 7 minutes, that would have been such a better build than running. Psych.
I was gonna have Jimmy Lloyd sitting out. I was gonna have Jimmy Lloyd quickly beat Matt Cardona. As Cardona's still on the ground, Jimmy Lloyd gets that red chair, puts it back in the ring, holds it over Cardona's throat, sits on the chair, and cuts a promo over Cardona for 2, 3, 4 minutes. And I would rather have that time.
He would have been like, "Who the fuck do you think you are coming to my company?" That would have been funny. I'm Jimmy fucking Lloyd. This is GCW, and I don't know what you.
We didn't need 7 minutes of fake outs and random people coming out when the show was already 17 days over time.
Yep,
I give him credit for making something creative, but I agree with you, especially at this later hour. We just didn't need it. Our winner here was still Jimmy Lloyd, but what I wanted to say was it's very sad that Brandon is leaving before we could get another Jimmy Lloyd, Brandon Kirk epic. If you guys know your independents a little bit, they had an amazing series of matches together, and I would have loved to have seen
Clown. Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, like I think at that time they could have done it some other creative way where we didn't get those stupid other names, and I mean that's the Cardona the Cardonaism in GCW was that whole segment. And I agree that you could have cut a lot more time off for either Jimmy or someone else, or not at all. Just even cut the short that much time shorter. Give Jimmy like quick 5 minutes, and I thought that would have been a cool moment. I'll be honest, this moment kind of not saved the show for me, but got me super back into it because
a Jimmy face turn is what we need, because we need faces in this company. Because I swear 80% of my time watching a GCW show is just the crowd booing the shit out of yet another heel. And we need those face pops. And I think that's why everyone was so excited for Cole and Alec. And we'll loop back around to heels and faces in Cole and Alec in about 5 minutes here. So
hopefully 5 minutes.
Main event time, brother. Let's just do it. Unless somebody else had something to say. I wanted to know this long because I know.
Count 14 attempted murder with a screwdriver.
I wrote in here that no matter how hard Mance and Effie worked, the fans were gassed. I feel like both actually deserved more crowd energy given the importance of this and how important it is to Effie to have this win.
If everything past Joey was an hour earlier, this show would have not been review bombed on Cage Match as it's been in the past day.
But with the crowd energy, I'll say it wasn't the wrestler's fault and it wasn't the crowd fault. You know, you're 5.5 hours into a show. It's going to be like that. We do the UCC, me and B, and it's like 3.5, sometimes 4 hours long. We get our money's worth. I'm fucking spent. I'm 2.5, 3 hours in. I'm like, holy shit, I've lost my voice. I'm at a point where I have to pick a match and just shut up and watch it, you know? I'll go back to this. There were
real fast. Hold on. Real fast. Going up that point, I found this so much easier to rewatch it than it did watching it the first time. Like rewatching it, I didn't feel that lag, the lull as I did watching it the first time. I think watching it live and how it kind of goes and literally the emotional up and down, I think that ruined it. But going back and rewatching it, I think it kind of puts stuff in a little bit perspective and is a little bit better to rewatch the second time.
Can we say that Brett definitely delivered on saying we got the GCW experience?
I would 1,000% prefer this one over the other one. Not even
close. The building was terrible too. Like Rose saying, there was no food in the building. Water was $6, and there was no food.
Yeah, something. Okay, so those are oversights that at some point does have to. Reed said they had chips and alcohol. Everything a growing GCW fan needs. Let me get back to my notes here. What do we have? Effie versus Mance having to do their feud essentially in reverse was so weird. They started with immolation spots and I quit and COS, but then finished with 2 matches in venues without blood. The New York State really was the thorn in the side here also, just because, I mean, GCW couldn't be GCW. I didn't have a chance to ask Brett what I was going to ask him. Where is your next legacy building where you could hold this next marquee show? But we just didn't get to it at that point. A lot of weapons in play. Effie dropped spine first over the back of a chair. To me, I still feel that move is so stupid. You're putting your body weight on like discs in your spine. Any other night, I could settle in and enjoy the match, but there was something hanging over the show. Again, I'm not a huge Allie fan and came over around just a year ago, but I was critical of her work. But that's never indicative of the individual, just their work.
There was also, with the whole Allie thing happening, where we knew out of kayfabe that both Allie and SDL were out of the building. And I'm talking, the injury notwithstanding, the fact that so many other people involved with the storyline were not in the building, and we knew that this was going to be a straight-on 1v1, took some of that excitement out of the ring. Where if it was going to be, if the finish of the number one contender was always going to be Effie, we never had that moment of when's Allie going to come in and fuck up Effie to potentially give Manser back the win, or SDL coming in, or whatever. The fact that we knew it was going to be such a straight-on 1v1 contest, in almost any other situation would have been, oh, cool, we can see them go, we could see them fight for real.
Yeah.
For real. But the fact we knew how this storyline was going to play out, because we know the language and we know the grammar of how an angle like this plays, the fact that they weren't there kind of said, oh, okay, we'll just sit here and watch this fight then. Especially with that energy sink, with that energy vacuum towards the end where everybody was bouncing out to catch their rides or go to a different show. If this match happened on a different day in a different building where they didn't have bike racks on the side of the ring, where Effie didn't have to twist his body in such a way to not get chucked into a railing, where if Allie didn't land on her ankle the wrong way, it was going to be such a different show.
Hearing Brett talk about he kind of had plans and how the stories at matches later on throughout the night, like it kind of made me sad. I was like, man, I might have been getting what I wanted that Hammerstein show. Like I've been calling, I wanted to see a bunch of stories throughout the entire night play and kind of affect what's going to happen at the end. I think the Allie Katch injury, took a lot of the drama away from the main event, especially with Megan Bay not even mentioning and doing the Attakus thing. That was another idea that we kind of talked about. I think kind of ruined everything ruined the drama for me going into the night. And as Frank was saying, we all just kind of knew, hey, we're going to get our feel good moment, and that's cool. But drama and enthusiasm, especially after knowing what happened at Allie earlier. 5 hours of wrestling. There just wasn't enough juice.
And this card was just so long beyond that. It was let's finish this match and then we'll come back around to cuts where we would make cuts to make this card better, and we'll go on with that. So let's just get back to the match.
Well, what John you're about to say, like this was like one of the only dramatic moments of the night that kind of got me back excited and really into this main event of maybe shit is going to change. But I thought this was a cool part here.
So Mance grabs a guitar. Just as he's about to hit Effie, Cole comes out and grabs the guitar, stopping him from hitting him. He unzips his jacket, and you can see Cole grab that brass ring. He's somewhat teasing the fans of the possibility, but he doesn't do it. Now, I will say, to be fair, that the fans were dead again, and I feel bad because there should have been a huge pop. In any other show, there would have been a huge pop. But again,
yeah,
the poor people. And again, this is nothing against anyone. I'm just saying these were the circumstances. But that would ruin Effie's shot at the championship right now. But yeah, Effie finally gets the guitar, delivers a shot or two, lights out. Our new winner was Effie. I will say one last thing. Mancer's run went 231 days over 7.5 months, 29 title defenses, over 20 minutes per match. I love Effie and I believe it's his time, but I feel right now it's also still Mance's time too. I don't know what the hell to do here, and I feel like it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
I agree with you there, yeah.
I think Cole becoming this sort of Damocles for the heavyweight scene, I don't know how to feel about it because I thought that they were so gung-ho with Cole being in the tag scene right now. I don't know how to feel because it adds this extra wrinkle that I don't know how to feel about.
I could see a kind of a cool little thing maybe they do near the end, like as you were kind of saying, faces and heels. I always kind of thought Cole and Alec is going to end in like a Marty Jannetty HBK split and a cool tag team split.
Yeah,
you could kind of have it doing where Cole's about to do the brass ring. Alex comes in and ruins it. It's like, hey, we're tag champions now. Like we ain't going to like forget about us. And like I can see a failed cash in is what I'm ultimately trying to say is we haven't seen a failed cash in, and why not?
At this point, the calendar crunch coming up to Mania, that's how I see that playing out too, because Effie just won the belt, and I don't see Cole winning heavyweight gold right now.
Yep. I'm the same there. And yeah, we still got Megan. Bane still has.
And Megan has the do or die cash in. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of as John said though, I'm the same way. I think it's Effie's time. Mance is on a run where it's not like
it's a good problem to have, but with the weight and the gravitas of all the other shit that happened tonight with Allie and her leg and all this other stuff, it definitely put a damper on. If that didn't happen and all this other stuff still happened, Cole come out and teasing, cashing it on whoever won the heavyweight, I think I would have a much different reaction.
Yeah. New music Friday tickets go on sale.
Nice. Well, I'll just do this real quick because like I said, I know we're on time. Poor Brant is dealing with some sick family right now, so I'll try to keep this simple. If we had more time, I'd say cut this card down to 8 matches, but we're not gonna. It isn't gonna happen. I'll give you my favorite 3: the DLC, the Garbage versus Violence is Forever. I felt that was long overdue.
Yep.
And then I'll put my third match as Los Desperados. I felt like they gave us way more and like rejuvenated some old timers for just one night. And the magic is still real to me, damn it. It was crazy seeing a black-haired Tajiri now all gray.
Yep.
And it was even better seeing that he could still move. So bless him for that. I got to see one of my old favorites again. Cool.
I'll definitely put the Effie's gonna be so mad at us that we're not calling his match the favorite match of the night. But Attakus and Megan, I think that was a great storytelling match. There's so many ways that could go. I think the DLC, DLC just has match of the night just written all over it. and you know, the ECW 3-way, that's, like I said that match had such a low bar of what I would consider that to be a good match, as if Tajiri did some, you know, spinny kicks, and Little Guido hit someone with an armbar out of nowhere, and Super Crazy did something stupid. Like, that's all I needed. Just had the old guys playing the hits. That's all they needed, and they did that, and in spades, and they did it 10 times more than I expected them to come around.
Same.
I swear to God, I heard Tajiri's pants whoosh 7 rows back.
For me, cool. My top 3 moments, match of the night, no doubt about it. DLC, every competitor deserves their roses for starting off the show the way they did. Like, you couldn't have done it any better. So that would be moment number 1. Moment 2, seeing Garbage Daddies get the tag belts was cool. See them get their moment at Hammerstein. And number 3 for me, I know it's gonna be weird, Jimmy Lloyd getting his moment and kind of get his moment at Hammerstein, getting his little turn on Cardona. That kind of was a cool moment.
And that closes out Deathmatch Royalty, because Steph is more Mance's partner than Cardona's partner at this point. So, you know, if you just have, you know, the power, I could see Mance and Steph coming back as like the power couple.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, yes, 100 times over.
And she would just get as much heat. Yep, they would still keep all the heat too.
And then, you know, not even labeled as Deathmatch Royalty, but just as, like, you know, like, have Steph still do the same gimmick that she was doing with Matt, but just for Mancer directly now, instead of Mance being the chosen corporate champion of Deathmatch Royalty.
It's going to be Mancer and Miss Stephanie.
Mance DeLander.
Oh my God. Mancer. If they do Macho and Miss Elizabeth,
they should do the Florida couple. They should be the Florida couple. I think that would
Joey already did Florida Man awesome. Too perfectly. We can't.
Yeah, that's true.
And then Joey, and then Jimmy just going back to Deathmatch. Jimmy, I think that's. I hoped he went to a third different thing instead of just going back to Different Boy. But if that's what we have now, the Different Boy instead of Broski, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, so am I. I guess ultimately, if I had to compare it to last year's, way better. Last Hammerstein's, way better. I think Brett kept the authenticity. He did the fans right there. It felt like a GCW show all throughout. The one thing I think just kind of hurt a little bit was the Allie Katch injury. And I think other than that, though, the show wasn't too bad other than the length of it. And some stuff could be cut in or cut out or saved to a different moment. I overall enjoyed it. I'm a sicko who likes enjoying all those hours of wrestling anyway. But going back and rewatching it, I think I enjoyed it a lot better. Like, even knowing what was kind of happening and seeing it play out, seeing the effort that the talent gave was 110%, and I knew that was going to happen. So definitely shout out all the talent. And I agree with Brett. He said 7.5. Mine is a 7.5. I'd give it a 7.5.
What about you, Frank?
I'm, you know, I'm the jaded pessimist here, so
5.5.
I was gonna put it at a 6.
Yeah,
it was a good show. It wasn't a good GCW show. I hope you understand what I mean by that.
Yes.
Yep.
6. It's in the history books now. Did it right the wrongs of the last Hammerstein show?
It addressed some problems wonderfully, and other ones it kind of ignored.
Magnified them.
In different ways, yeah.
I think it did prove the point of the first one. I think no blood in the venue and New York kind of killed it. And I agree with Joey. I wouldn't. His little tweet of not going back to Hammerstein.
I would not care if we ever went back to Hammerstein. There needs to be bigger venues in non-commissioned cities that they can pull this shit off in.
Or even slightly smaller ones where they could pull shit off in. 1,000. Give me 1,000. A marquee show. Something I like the nice round number like 1,000.
Yeah.
And where you don't have to worry about ticket sales and everything else. You know that if you have a quality show, some deathmatch people will show up, and the GCW regulars will show up, and even the GCW hopefuls may show up. I look forward to seeing where the next marquee venue will be, because it doesn't sound like it's Hammerstein. Brett really says MSG for fun, but yeah, I'd love to know where the next one is. But
I'm trying to think of, I'd have to compile the list of non-commission towns. And, Jersey is right there, because that's literally the reason Jersey's on the deathmatch map, is because we're in a non-commissioned state.
Yeah.
So my immediate thought, can you guys hear me? Because like your videos went out
on
my end, and it's my internet, not your guys's.
Yeah.
I think honestly, after watching the show live, I was like, with the lack of blood, the authenticity of GCW, I really was like, I hope they don't go.
Even the incidental blood in non-death matches adds to that GCW flavor.
I was just going to say, like, they need to go to a place where they could do not even just death matches, but blood, and kind of, I don't want to say restart the building process again, but like, I think a big part of it was the blood, and I'm fine for them going to cities and states and venues that they could do GCW and not have to go to this place because it was a cool name 30 years ago because so-and-so ran it, and we're running there, but we can't do what we want to do. We're just going to say we ran the place.
To answer your question you posed to Brett before, I absolutely see, upstart, spring chicken, companies that want to reinvigorate deathmatch. I could definitely see them running the terminal. I can definitely see them running the UCC and calling it the warmest summer, and absolutely just playing off of the fact that they want to run in the same footsteps, and they want to piss in the same alleys as GCW.
But I think now's the time for them to just go to where they could be authentic and create their legacy, so that way other people could follow them. It's the buildings
they're touring now. It's your UCCs. It's your, I can't even say Harris because Philly's a commission state. It's AC. It's anywhere in New Jersey. I during this conversation, I'm running through my list of buildings in New Jersey that fit that 1,000 people in a theater setting, in sort of like, what's the Atlanta building?
Rose said PNC Center in Jersey. What's your thoughts on that one?
Rose, are you talking about the Arts Center?
Possibly. Rose knows his stuff. He's rough on GCW, but he really knows his stuff.
Like I have to wait for the.
It's a no peace venue that NGI was in.
Because the only PNC I know is the Arts Center off the Parkway.
So real fast, I don't want to hit this too hard, but like this is where I was kind of going to go with Bloodsport. I think they need to find one of their, like when they were during the COVID and like
honestly,
the fucking warehouse.
Let's go back to Starland Ballroom where they held TOS 3.
I think for GCW, yeah.
Ballroom has carpet, right?
No, Starland Ballroom is a wood floor pit.
Gotcha. What were you saying there, B? I'm so sorry, buddy.
No, I was just gonna say, like for Bloodsport, I think the aesthetic, if they could just find a cool small venue as they did during COVID with the lights down and all the lights are just on the ring and you can't see shit around there. I think like aesthetically they could do some cool stuff with Bloodsport that would help it out, help create its own thing, its own thing away from GCW shows.
Sorry to cut you off, but I'm gonna talk Jersey for a second here. But the PNC Center is a large outdoor amphitheater where most of the big touring acts come through in central Jersey near where Howell is. It's a huge amphitheater. It's like where all your big, new metal concerts come through during the summer, and they run like, Ozfest and all those type buildings. John, you're muted, by the way. It's it's the wrong kind of building for GCW. I would see them more in Asbury Park, in what's that building in Asbury Park?
Jacob said Starland Ballroom.
Yeah, that's the one I said before, Starland Ballroom.
Okay,
it's literally the building where they held TOS 3. The same building.
That's fucking sick.
Sorry, I'm blanking, and it's 3:00 in the morning, so I'm forgetting.
Yeah, hey, yeah, you know what? It's
Convention
okay.
Hall.
We're giving
Convention Hall. That's what it was. Convention Hall at Asbury Park. ECW did run there back in the day. It is a large, it's a venue the size of like your minor league hockey type venue.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I think that would be a perfect size for where GCW is and wants to be in this near term. And it's in that butter zone of being Central Jersey, where you have the Philly people will come out, the Jersey people can come, because it's on the train from Penn Station. Asbury Park is a stop on the train from Penn Station, so you have all of New York can make it there.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, Rose said it's an okay building.
Yeah, and it's a summer town. So like run that in like early spring, early fall. Perfect.
Clown said, isn't that where Bam Bam beat Taz for the title?
It is.
Rose said, yes. Look at that. God, I love this chat. Our chat at like every now one or more comes in. I don't know. It's just awesome. I cut you off, didn't I, Frank?
No, I'm rambling about Jersey venues right now because we're talking about GCW making their own legacy and not following in ECW's legacy, but there's just no other buildings to do it in non-commissioned towns nearby towards Jersey. I'll just leave it there. That's pretty much all I can say on that.
I do want to say one thing because this is worth mentioning. Mandy, one of our listeners here, said, I ended up leaving early. My train was around 12:35 a.m. Or if I stayed, the next train was 2:44 a.m. and would be home after 4 a.m. That sounds a lot like your story almost, Frank. Great show, though, and a great review. New listener. Welcome, Mandy. We deep dive. Sometimes it's 2 of us. Sometimes it's 3 of us. We have a ton of guests in here and interviews. Welcome. We have a good community. Feel free to be, be cool in chat. Everybody's nice.
He got bit again. Drink.
It's been a rough night, man. I can't wait to end this
game.
show tonight, man. Real fast, going off of that, saying review. So real fast for those of the new listeners stuff, that's what our show mostly is a review show. We review the shows that were happened prior. We give our honest opinions. Thanks, Rose. Thanks for helping us out. I got to remember.
Thank you, Rose.
Yeah, we're mostly a review show. If you're looking for the dirt, the scoops, the that kind of stuff, this is not the podcast for you. I appreciate you guys hanging out and stopping by, but
we take into it once in a while if we're feeling adventurous, but that's not why we're here.
And so some of the stuff there was we ain't touching any of that stuff. We mostly are here for the reviews and what's happening in GCW that makes sense for the whole common goal. So thank you, though, for those kind words, Mandy, and thank you for Jose for reminding us. Yeah. Also, if you do enjoy our Game Changer Weekly, me and John are doing on GCW's Patreon, the history of GCW Art of War Games is our next episode. We record with Brett tomorrow, and it will probably be out shortly right after that, probably Thursday morning. So, yes, please check out the GCW Patreon if you are enjoying us, and we are do the history of GCW show on Patreon now. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there real fast because chat was kind of crazy, got a little crazy earlier. And I just don't want some people to get the wrong aspect of our show. Some people want that kind of stuff and dirt and scoops, and like that ain't us. So if that's what you came for, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to think we're ignoring you. I see everything on the chat and everything, but we're a review show, so we will talk about other stuff.
Pay for us fucking up our mic buttons.
Yeah,
often.
No, for me, I just feel like I think it's cool to have breaking news. We do breaking news, and I'm more than happy to share whatever we're told that we can share. But we don't do dirt. We don't do that kind of stuff because we feel like there are people that are told to that, and that's not our style. We're trying to make sure.
I ain't touching personal stuff. I'm here for the wrestling shit.
So it's like we're adults. Well, we're trying to be adults, trying to act like adults, trying to treat everyone else like adults too. So
I think Rose said that's what all 3 of us I think all 3 of us. We love wrestling. We're old.
I'm writing I don't know about patients on people fighting in shiny pants.
Rose, I want to come out to AC in June so damn bad.
I want to do a TOS. I'm mad I didn't go to the last one at the Carousel Room. That one I was very close of going that weekend and decided last minute not to. I have no urge to go to the terminal. Sorry. Like AC is going to need to find a cool venue for me to want to kind of go out there to go check it out because Yeah, I don't know about the terminal carousel.
You gotta come out. You gotta come out.
That's what I'm hearing.
We have
just,
to. We need to make it like a group trip, and then we just go out and be like, hey, the fucking crew is here. Like,
I have words. I have words for after the cut on that. So sorry, Shaq, but I've got words for that on the end after we cut. So
Jacob said Frankie, would Wellmont Theater in Montclair be too big for them?
I'm in the process of Googling that building, and
dude,
I'm not familiar because I'm a Central Jersey boy. That's a little far for me. But looking inside, that looks like to be that House of Blues, Talia Hall style building that could work.
Yeah,
but I don't want to speak for the company because I'm we're completely outside of the system. At least me right now, I'm completely outside of the system, so I don't want to speak for anybody out of turn right now. But I
love the mall shows. Sorry, Frank. I love the mall shows. How many of those do you think we should have a year? I say 4. 4 mall shows.
2.
Okay.
I wouldn't go to any other venue other than AC or UCC more than once a year. I mean, I think we're starting to see diminishing returns on especially these places that go 3, 4, 5 times a year.
Yes.
And we've been noticing it, and we've said it on the podcast.
I can see we get the quarterly LA, we get quarterly Atlantic City. I could see twice a year in Chicago because Chicago's a wrestling town. And then, there's special terms for like some of these like Phoenix and Salt Lake sort of get, preferential treatment because they're on that LA loop. But
I'm sorry, Phoenix earned it. That day one Phoenix show.
Dude, yeah. Frank, you were there. Phoenix is fucking hot.
Oh, I was more than there in the Phoenix show.
Yeah, you were part of the show.
I almost got my ass handed me by Mance through a door in the Phoenix show.
They earned it night one of being a city they go back to. I think 2 times is at max a year for any city. I want to see new venues, new fans that are dying to go there, when we finally got a Downward Spiral. Like, how enthusiastic were we and finally get a GCW show like once a year, twice a year? Like, I just think it brings more energy from the fans. They're more grateful. They're going to get that energy that's been pent up out of their system a lot more. For me, I agree with you, Frank. I do 4 LA, 4 UCC, throw in a couple of those popular ones, but I would be trying to go to new cities, new venues, and try new stuff out, get new fans, and do what they did before. Like
I was surprised how hot Albuquerque was.
Yeah, they were a loud crowd too.
Oh, yeah, that's PPW's home area.
Yeah, the Breaking Bad show.
Yeah,
that's where Gino's people.
Yeah,
that's where Gino trains all his people. Yeah, dude, Deppen and Gino is a match that should happen once.
I want to see them as a tag team.
The problem is they're heel and heel, but
that's what I'm saying. Tag
together.
Gets the garbage daddies. That would be some fun shit.
Oof.
All right,
we did it. Or did we miss anything else here?
Nope.
I'm looking at my.
Well, I mean, it's too late for that now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right.
You want me to do the upcoming shows and we'll close the motherfucker out for the night?
Let's close this thing out.
Thank you everyone for staying up till holy moly 2:30 a.m. on the East Coast. We freaking love you guys like every Tuesday. There's people in from London, from Ireland, from Scotland also. I've seen German people in here before. Thank you for getting up early to do this with us. We absolutely love you. And the family is truly international. Under our upcoming shows, Saturday, January 25th, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, BZW GCW, Enter the Zone. This is from Espace Isabelle de Hanois in Bapam, Frankreich, Germany. Show number 2, Sunday, January 26th, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, GCW live in London from the Electric Ballroom in London, England. So look forward to those shows this weekend. GCW goes international.
We had the J Cup Valentine's Day weekend in Jersey City.
Still working on trying to get an interview a couple days before that, and just waiting to hear an answer back. I might as well announce this too, because I mean, I haven't yet. Our guest for next week on the 28th will be Sam Stackhouse. So if you get the opportunity, please tune in if you can. This will be the first time we will have a show devoted strictly to interviewing Sam Stackhouse. No other people or anything
always
else.
The bridesmaid.
I'm about to say I'm expecting a Brett run-in, knowing Sam Stackhouse is going to be on.
But yeah, we wanted to make sure he came on. We think he's an amazing athlete, an even more amazing individual, nice as can be. We just want to see him succeed. So we'll do everything we can to do that for him. So next week, it will be Sam Stackhouse's turn in the hot seat.
Fuego, if you're out there listening this week, I need some questions for Sam Stackhouse. You said to hit you up last time that Sam Stackhouse was on for some questions. He had some stories he wanted us to bring up. So Fuego, if you're listening, I'll reach out to you or reach out to me with some of the stories to get out at for Sam Stackhouse. I'm glad you told me. I forgot, man.
Yeah. I've been stacking everything up so much with interviews that I kind of have to give us a breather before we go around again. I had someone for the first week of next month, the second week, and I'm like, we've got to do some things because it got to a point where we weren't doing any reviews almost.
Yeah,
we've had a guest.
England.
We've had 4 or 5 straight weeks with guests.
Yeah.
We have Stackhouse next week. We had Lauderdale. Then the week before that, we had Lauderdale. The week before that, we had
Effie, right?
Yeah, we had Effie at some point. Yeah, we had Effie. Yeah, so it's been a really interesting time. If you're a GCW fan, thank you so much for tuning in and being part of us. You see, we're just friends hanging out, having a good time, and we appreciate that you come in. Every single person that comes in that chat are people that we kind of know a little bit. So if you keep coming back, keep doing your thing. A lot of these people know each other just at least by chat. Clown has seen Rose 100 times.
Yep.
Who has seen Great One 100 times, who's seen Kev, by the way, he said that he couldn't get into chat for a while there, so it's good to see you tonight, sir. Violet's in here. Yeah. So yeah, Jacob, thank you everybody for coming in. There's a lot of names here, and again, a healthy chat for the best and for the worst.
Go throw money at Allie. Go throw money at Allie.
Right down
last
there
chance at the bottom. Allie Katch, go find me here. Let me put it in the chat real fast. So that way we get the. There's a link there they could go to. You're supposed to fill there while I'm doing this. Come on.
He's doing. You're doing.
Got a link.
You're doing so good, dude.
Control
We're so
C,
proud of
you.
You're a champion. I'm trying to think of all the good. Hang in there. I like the cat.
So it takes you that long to think of a good thing? Oh, okay, sorry.
No, I needed motivational things.
Oh shit! Yeah, there we go. I spammed it all. Everybody there. There's a chat for all the platforms we were on. Hit it up there. If not, I'll post it on my Twitter right now as well. Go support Allie Katch, and yeah, we did
fucking
it.
Love you guys.
Too.
We love you guys.
Frank, thank you for staying on till freaking 3 in the morning and giving us your first hand impressions there. Appreciate all your time and everything you did for us the last couple of weeks.
No worries.
Rose said that Cardona is making an injured bendy for Allie.
No.
All they got to do is turn the foot around. It's cool.
Jesus.
No, seriously, that's you know what I mean, because it's injured. I'm guessing that's.
To quote one of the great poets of our time. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Jim, thank you so much for popping in here tonight. Thank you a lot, Frank. All right, let's do it, guys.
All
right. Ready?
Guys.
We keep kind of railing on because we're getting tired.
I know we didn't do this last week. We just got right off last week. So do this before I get cut off.
By the way, so sorry guys. Just wanted to let you know, last show was the first time we ever ended without saying "Long live GCW." Super sorry.
Mm-hmm.
After almost 3 years, we did it. Here we go.
Long
hey,
live on GCW.
Have a great night, guys.
Later.